Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like pain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. But known for my city like OAGZ. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it, and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You try to aim for the top like this, and you're in your element with a fire like this, and they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Flow is like water. I'm forced through the fire. I'm feeling like gold. Gotta stay grounded, stay down to earth. Following God and you grinding. You do as you told. I don't work to make you like me, but I'm front and center. Word to Spike Lee. And God came in the nick of time. They think I'm crazy, but I might be. Let's run it up, run it up, run it up. We beating the odds just to sum it up. You know it's a rap, never waistlines, and I'm cutting the weight like a tummy tuck. That mean I'm about to give it out right now. You see what's coming down the line, I never pipe down. I give 100% and be trying to stun on my enemies. In my element as crazy as that might sound. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same old energy, cause I know I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element. Never switch up. 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 Keep that same energy. I'm in my element.
Yeah. ATP, we in the building. Guess what? We got the soundboard locked in. Oh, yeah. Let's go. We got the soundboard locked all the way in. We still putting in the sounds, you know what I'm saying? We're doing everything we need to do, but we are officially. Let me know in the building if you hear me clearly. That's very important. Want to make sure that I'm definitely coming in clear. Are you guys hearing me? Can I get some confirmation in the chat? It should be no issues, no hiccups, but until you guys let me know, I just don't know. A1 and King Blake, thank you, brother. I appreciate you, family. Thank you. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody who's in the building, man. Salute to everybody who's in the building. We got a lot to talk about today, man. Things are developing. This is I don't want to say it's a dead week of boxing. As far as this weekend is concerned, there are some events popping off this weekend, but this has been more of a information-based week, right? Priming us and getting us ready for the weeks to come, because next week really sets the train back moving again, going all the way into August. We got a bunch of events coming up, right? I mean, and we also have news about what's going on in the space right now. The DAZN is continuing to put the good fight in, man. And I'm over here to let you know, man. Shout out to the DAZN, man. Shout out to the damn DAZN. Shout out to the DAZN, man. The DAZN is on their grind, man. They're making the move. They're making the acquisitions. They're taking the space by storm. They're pushing all these promoters to put on the biggest fights. And if you're a boxing fan, you've probably been waiting on this moment right here for about the last 5+ years, right? Especially if you're a casual fan who's come in off of the, in the Gervonta Tank Davis, Errol Spence. I'm just saying around that early PBC, not even early, like the latter part of that PBC Showtime journey that was on. And, when the across the street politics became very prominent in conversations across the boxing space, one of the biggest complaints I think that I heard through everybody, I know personally, my own personal biggest complaint was definitely the inability to get the fights that we want, right? The inability to get the fights that we want. So to see the DAZN really kicking off right now, this 2026, the way that they did has been an absolute pleasure to watch, right? It's been a joy to our hearts to watch this come together. There was one missing last piece that we could say to this whole entire conversation. And that was probably DAZN and the PBC, right? What was the PBC? Damn, this thing, I got to go ahead and use my alcohol wipe, man. I got to use my lens wipes, man. I just made it worse. I thought I could just wipe my lens clear and get it clear, but it is what it is. One missing piece to DAZN, right? We saw DAZN acquire Top Rank finally. We were very happy to see DAZN and Top Rank finally be able to come up to an agreement and understanding how they were going to work it out. We watched Top Rank go through a year of just funny Facebook fights, Tubi, all those different things that were going on. And in the midst of that happening, some of the best prospects in the game, we weren't seeing them fight the way we wanted to, right? So then we watched them go ahead and make their way over to DAZN. And on the back end of that, what have we seen? We've seen Xander Zayas fight Jermall Charlo, right? We just saw Abdullah Mason, right, have a great fight with Albert Bell, right? We saw Shushu fight, Emiliano Vargas fight, right? We've seen Keyshawn Davis step back in the building. So super excited to be a boxing fan and watch all those things come together. And then we're hearing about all of these across the street politics getting smashed because we're watching fights get made and negotiated in the background. Now conversations are openly happening between a Oscar De La Hoya and an Eddie Hearn, or a Bob Arum and an Al Heyman, right? Or an Al Heyman and an Oscar De La Hoya, and those type of things, right? That's all been refreshing to watch happen and come full circle. But there was one missing piece, and that was definitely the PBC part of the conversation. What was the PBC going to do? Was the PBC going to continue to work out this deal with Amazon and continue to nurture that relationship? And would Amazon finally invest into the PBC the way the PBC clearly needed the investment to be in order for us to see some of these fights happen? I mean, we watched 2023. We watched that whole entire situation go left for the PBC and Amazon, right? It just didn't work out. And then we saw it get real quiet. We didn't hear from Errol Spence no more, except for a periodical tweet from time to time. Some kind of picture would show up and you'd see Errol Spence running up and down the street somewhere, or doing some work inside of the gym, or doing some shadow boxing. We'd all get excited, but nothing would ever come to fruition on the back end of that. We watched Gervonta Tank Davis fall completely out of sync with the game, just completely fell out of love, disenchanted completely with the sport. And just, it was a difficult past couple of years with Gervonta Tank Davis, to say the least, right? This is me trying to be soft porn about it, pause, right? I'm not trying to get that deep, point fingers, but it's been a very difficult journey with Gervonta Tank Davis past couple of years. We watched the Charlo brothers be relatively inactive. Shout out to Jermall Charlo, who had a fight here and there, but nothing crazy, right? A Jose Benavidez Jr. fight here, right? We've seen a Cornflake LaMotta fight there. We've seen a couple of little things happening here and there, but never any consistency. And of course, Amazon and the PBC rolling out 5, 6, 7 events a year, 5, 6, 7 events a year, all of them pay-per-view. Just that big red line drawn in the sand made it very difficult for us to really have any real optimism about what was going to happen in the game as far as the PBC was concerned. This year has been a decent year for the PBC. We watched David Benavidez making moves, but always stayed loyal to the brand of the PBC. And the last event he put on against Zurdo Ramirez, the PBC showed the first sign of, I don't want to say the first sign. Let me not say the first sign, right? Because I don't know. You guys take it how you want to take it, right? But I do feel like the David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez fight was like there was a writing on the wall there, right? There was definitely an element of, is the PBC, it's streaming on both Amazon and DAZN? This is very interesting. And we started to have those conversations as well on the back end of seeing that event, right? On the back end of seeing David Benavidez get inside of the ring with Zurdo Ramirez, and more importantly, watching those pay-per-views run at the same time on different platforms, you had to become a little bit more optimistic. The conversation started to be sparked around the space. What is the PBC thinking about making this move? Is DAZN maybe even more importantly thinking about making this move based off of the PBC's track record of working with networks and how those relationships ended, right? On the back end or on the front end of that, you got to bring up Zuffa Boxing. You got to bring up Paramount in this conversation. You got to bring up Netflix in this situation. Guys, maybe even more importantly, you got to bring up Turki Allah Sheikh in this situation, Because without a doubt, all those different elements that I just brought up, all those variables that I brought up, all those networks, all that money that I just brought up stirred the pot, to say the least. Stirred the pot, to say the least, right? Right? That being said, what was the DAZN going to do to deal with this new wave of boxing promotion coming into this game, this new control, this new mega money machine that was flowing throughout the boxing space, really taking all of the big fighters and making the big fights, whether it was Ryan Garcia, whether it was Devin Haney, and I'm just trying to stay on the American side because we know what they did over there in the UK, right? Whether it was Teofimo Lopez, whether it was Shakur Stevenson, whether it was David Benavidez. I mean, the inability for these boxing promotional companies to finance, right? To facilitate a space for the biggest fights that happen in boxing seemed like there was no answer anywhere near reach. That being said, the DAZN comes together and makes a big power move, and they say, we're not going to lose our spot. We've worked so hard. Although we're just a streaming app, we're a streaming app that streams more boxing than any other streaming app in the game, right? Especially now that ESPN was no longer in the conversation as they moved on from Top Rank. They started to open up the conversation of bringing in these other promotional companies. But I think the biggest thing that the DAZN did was that they started to get involved in the conversation of these fights getting put together, the biggest fights. The DAZN clearly put out a message out there to all these promotional companies, letting them know, like, not only, it's not about just coming over here and just putting on fights. No, we want to put on the fights. And how are we going to do that? Turki Al-Sheikh has come over to the DAZN and purchased a large, well, not Turkey alone, but Turkey representing Saudi Arabia, who have purchased admirable share of the DAZN, right? Not 50%, not 30, 40%, but a respectable share of the DAZN, right? And they help to facilitate a lot of these Ring Magazine fights and all those different things. How was the DAZN going to flip this into their favor? They got involved in the conversation. And me personally, I think I really started to see them get involved in the conversation on the back end of the Vergil Ortiz Jr. Jaron Boots Ennis fight getting created on the DAZN. Now, not the one that was going to happen with Turkey when Turkey was involved, but the one where Vergil had just put down and stopped Erickson Lubin. Jaron Boots Ennis steps into the ring to make that big fight happen. And your favorite promoter came out and told the whole entire world that that fight wasn't a fight that the people wanted to see. He tried to convince you in his best delivery, right? In his best Don King voice, tried to tell you guys that you weren't really trying to see Jaron Boots Ennis fight Vergil Ortiz. And what you really wanted to see was Vergil Ortiz Jr. fight Errol Spence Jr. in Dallas Cowboys Stadium, excuse me.
Yeah, listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that. Yeah.
Right?
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
That's what they tried to tell you. They tried to tell you you didn't want to see one of the biggest fights that could be made. And the DAZN drew a line in the sand and said, we're not dealing with this no more. This is killing us. This mentality is killing boxing. You are destroying the sport, while literally on the other side of the spectrum is a conversation happening on revamping the Ali Act, right? Turning it into the Ali Revival Act so that UBOs can be created, literally knocking all the sanctioning body belts and saying that promoters in this space lack vision. And in the midst of that happening, you're going to tell the world that they don't want to see one of the biggest moments in 2025, which is watching Jaron Boots Ennis step inside of the ring on the back end of Vergil Ortiz Jr. stopping Erickson Lubin inside of 2 rounds? They don't want to see that. What they want to see is an inactive fighter who hasn't been in the space for going on 3 years, and his last time being inside that ring, being dominated, surgeries, all types of I was going to cuss, F-aries, going on in the midst of that conversation, and you're trying to convince the world that that's not what they want to see? No, sir. No, sir. The DAZN definitely drew a line in the sand when it came down to that conversation, and to the point to where we didn't even know if Golden Boy and the DAZN were going to continue doing business, as the renewing of that relationship, that contract, that agreement, that business partnership was starting to be under some real bright lights, as the DAZN was making it very clear that they weren't as interested as they were before. They don't know. I don't know if our business model aligns. I don't know if our mission statements align. You know, we're trying to make the biggest fights. Maybe Golden Boy needs to go to Swerve. Maybe they should go stream their fights on Facebook. No. Maybe Tubi has a spot for Golden Boy. That got pretty ugly. That got pretty nasty pretty damn quick. But look, God is good all the time, ladies and gentlemen, and all the time. God is good. Oscar De La Hoya woke up and decided to smell the coffee and said maybe this wasn't the right move. On the back end of Vergil Ortiz Jr. taking him to court and trying to get out of his deal, Ryan Garcia trying to get about that deal, Oscar De La Hoya gets confronted with a lot of reality that this wasn't going to stand too much longer. These boxers are becoming smarter, and when there's options on the table, ladies and gentlemen, when there's options on the table, when fighters don't have to, when they choose to, because they could go to Zuffa. Yeah, I know the bell isn't there, but the money's there, the activity's there, the exposure's there, right? They can go to Turkey and work something out with, one of these other promoter companies. They can go to Matchroom, who's been doing a great job with boxing. They don't have to stay with you, Oscar. They don't have to stay with you. And that conversation became more and more real. Oscar De La Hoya realizing that if he didn't have a real home for his fighters, as Vergil Ortiz said in that lawsuit, I believe there was something along the line of, our deal is based on your ability to put us on the biggest stage. And if the DAZN isn't going to renew a contract with you and you're not going to have a relationship with the DAZN, then what can you do for us? What can you do for me? I want out of here. Get me out of here. Get me the hell up out of here. Oscar woke up, it looks like, and smelled the coffee. Maybe Eric Gomez had a conversation with him, because Oscar De La Hoya comes out. Oscar De La Hoya comes out. Let me see if I can find the situation here. And he confirms something to the world, right? We watched Oscar De La Hoya back up off of a lot of his standpoints and everything like that, right? But what did Oscar have to say? Let's.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hope your summer has been amazing. Hope you're enjoying the World Cup. But back to business, August 1st. My gosh, we have William Cepeda versus Lamont Roach, Murataya on the undercard, as well as Raul Curiel, who's fighting in Las Vegas, working on Vergil Ortiz versus Boots. Vergil Ortiz wants the fight. Let's make that happen. It all depends on Boots. Working on Ryan Garcia versus Benn. I just got the memo today. So that's the fight that everybody wants to see. Oh. So I'm going to make it happen for you guys. Also,
for us,
Kid Austin versus Badi, fighting for the full world title, because Gervonta Davis is on recess, champion on recess. And also Oscar Collazo versus Ricardo Sandoval. Oscar moving two weight classes to fight for Ricardo's belt.
Put it on the line.
Let's go. The summer is looking great.
Woo! Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, right? So Oscar De La Hoya has become way more motivated, way more excited about boxing. He wants to put the biggest fights on, and not just with his mouth. Pause. It looks like he's ready to back it up with some action, right? We can talk about what he said in there. I mean, he spoke about so much, man. Just so excited. By the way, Oscar De La Hoya, shout out to the new hairdo, man. I mean, you're killing it, brother. Yeah, you're doing your little Sean Zattel. What is that, like a Sean Zattel slice? I don't know. Jimmy Fallon. I'm trying to use. You guys help me out in the chat. That was just a great haircut from Oscar De La Hoya. Just putting on a new look. And look, it's 2026. It's time that Golden Boy gets a new look. And if this is the new look that Oscar De La Hoya is pushing out to the space right now, and this new look will get us the biggest fights, well, let's have it, man. Let's have this new look. Oscar, don't never change that hairdo back, brother. You stay in that hairdo. Maybe, you know, work it out, grow it out a little longer, and, you know, throw a little ponytail up in there. You know what I mean? The back, like, you know, get a little Miami Vice 1985. You know what I'm saying? You got this, man. You got the money. You got the stylist. Make it happen for us, man. We're loving it. We're loving it, man. But that being said, more importantly than loving what we saw, how Oscar De La Hoya was looking, I was loving what Oscar De La Hoya was saying, right? Side note, but still in the same conversation here. I thought it was very interesting, his whole entire perspective on the Ryan Garcia Conor Benn conversation as well, right? I thought that was a real interesting perspective. That's what we want, so he's gonna ask, he's gonna get it for us. That's what we want, so he's gonna deliver it to us. Oh, thank you, Oscar De La Hoya. We really do appreciate, we really do appreciate that angle, man. That was really good. Let me see here if I can find. Let's see here. Am I missing it? What am I missing here? Okay, somehow. Oh, there we go. I found it. Boom. Oscar De La Hoya.
We'll see. Oscar De La Hoya has said that nobody has been in touch with him. Feelings very hurt about this. Regarding Ryan Garcia fighting Conor Benn, why hasn't anyone been in touch with Oscar?
Yeah, I don't know why Oscar said that. I think he knows why, and that's because Ryan Garcia signed a 2-fight deal with Sella, the Saudi Arabian company, ahead of the Mario Barrios fight. So that was fight number 1. Fight number 2 is going to be the next fight, which could be Conor Benn on September 12th. But Sella has the commercial rights, not Golden Boy. Golden Boy cannot stop anything. They're not the ones that are authorized here. Sella's authorized on this next fight, so it's going to be Sella talking with Ryan, and I'm sure they'll fill in Oscar, but they don't have to get his approval or go ahead.
Oscar, in other words, sold the rights to Sella, but now still wants to be contacted as though he hasn't sold the rights to Sella.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. I don't really understand Oscar's video. I think Oscar knows exactly what the deal is.
Does he?
And this is going to get sorted soon, and we'll have Ryan's fight announced hopefully in short order, Max.
I got to say this about Oscar De La Hoya.
Man,
he was a very entertaining fighter to watch.
One of the best.
All-time great. I got to stand for Oscar.
Absolutely.
100%.
He has become an underrated fighter. He was so good. At the end of his career,
man,
he lost a competitive fight to Floyd Mayweather in Floyd's prime. Yeah. And Oscar was right near the end. He was a great fighter. And he is a highly entertaining guy since then.
Yes, he is.
Man. You got to love Oscar De La Hoya and his new hairdo. Like I said before, guys, shout out to Oscar De La Hoya and the new hairdo. Keep the hairdo, Oscar. It does you justice. And whatever it is that's in the wig or the grease or the conditioner that you're using in the wig, it's got you way more open to making the biggest fights. And we appreciate that, man. We'll never knock that wig, man. You keep that wig on your head. You keep being entertaining. You keep delivering those great clapback Thursdays. And just as long as you don't get in the way of the biggest fights happening in the space as well, right? Just as long as you're not doing that. So that is what it is, though, man. He's going to get out of the way. He's going to get out of the way of Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn. He can't get in the way. He can't get in the way of that fight happening. He sold the rights to Ryan Garcia, just like he sold the rights away to Ring Magazine, right? Oscar De La Hoya is always going to make his money. He's got to pay the mortgage on that $12 million mansion he's living in. And whatever it takes, dollars make sense with Oscar De La Hoya. And look, this is America. Capitalism is what it is, man. We can respect somebody who's about their money, right? We can respect somebody who's about their money. So Oscar did go ahead and, according to Mike Coppinger, sign away his rights to Ryan Garcia for this 2-fight deal. So that is why it went black for Oscar. That's why Ryan Garcia showed up on Jimmy Fallon and made that announcement, and showed up on the Stephen A. Smith First Take and made that announcement, and Oscar wasn't involved in the conversation, right? So maybe there was a little bit of disingenuous energy coming from Oscar De La Hoya, speaking as if he didn't get the phone call, there'd be no fight. Maybe there was a little cap.
Stop the cap.
Maybe there was a little bit of cap in that whole cease and desist letter.
Stop the cap.
Maybe DAZN wasn't aware of what Oscar De La Hoya did.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Maybe Oscar De La Hoya owes DAZN some money and they don't know about it. They weren't aware of it, but I'm sure they are aware of it today because Oscar De La Hoya seems to have everything ironed out and making sense now because somebody called him and let him know why he wasn't involved in the creation of this fight. And now, you know, he's going to be a good promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, as DAZN, you know, has to, you know, deal with that part of it. But I'm sure if it had been DAZN's way, it wouldn't have went that way, right? I'm sure DAZN wouldn't have allowed Oscar De La Hoya to sign away the rights to Ryan Garcia to make some money. So that being said, it is what it is. It is what it is. We will see Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn looks like on September 12th. By the way, I believe that's Mexican Independence Day weekend. That was the day that Canelo Alvarez was supposed to fight Christian and Billy. We know that fight's been moved down the line into October due to maybe some injuries or things like that to Canelo Alvarez's elbow.
Stop the cap.
I didn't mean to hit that wrong button. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's no cap in that, but it is what it is. David Benavidez has taken Cinco de Mayo officially from Canelo Alvarez, it looks like, and it looks like Ryan Garcia is hoping to be able to do the same thing on September 12th against Conor Benn. We'll see how that one ends up looking at. Also on that same list, Oscar Collazo will be looking to go up 2 weight classes to fight Ricardo Sandoval at 112 pounds. Guys, I don't know, man. It seems like Oscar Collazo's getting closer and closer and closer, way closer to Bam Rodriguez, right? That fight didn't even seem realistic to me 6 months ago. I didn't even see that as a possibility. Look, right now, Bam Rodriguez just fought once at 118, is planning to go up to 122 to fight against Monster anyway, but still, that was a big leap right there. 2 weight classes up to 112 pounds. That's going to be a challenge for Oscar Collazo. I expect him to show up and show out without a doubt. I expect him to do the work. Very skilled fighter, but we don't know. Will the power translate for Oscar Collazo at 112 pounds, right? I mean, all these different little angles that we have to think about here. This is a big feat for Oscar Collazo, but what a big leap. 2 weight classes. You thought he was just gone up weight, but he's going up to. Pressure on Golden Boy to put on the biggest fights. Pressure on Oscar De La Hoya to put on the biggest fights. Pressure on DAZN to put on the biggest fights as they work to compete inside of this space. Watching Zuffa Boxing slowly but surely grow, move forward. They're attracting a lot of talent on the back end of rumors of Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. We see Richardson Hitchens over there, Edgar Berlanga, right? We see Jairo Patayo over there. We're hearing a lot of different things. Even this Usyk Deontay Wilder situation seems like it may happen on a Zuffa platform. So the DAZN definitely has a lot to get done, and Oscar De La Hoya is looking like he has to put his fighters out there. Also, Oscar De La Hoya shouted out Floyd Schofield Jr. Hey, Floyd Schofield Jr. versus Lucas Body for a vacated WBA lightweight title. Official. Putting that pressure out there, making sure that the biggest fights happen right now. And not to say that Floyd Schofield Jr. and Lucas Body is one of the biggest fights that could be made, but it may be one of the biggest moves that could be made for the lightweight division. Having Gervonta Tank Davis operate as a fighter who is inactive, locking down one of the 4 belts that's needed to see undisputed at 135, on the back end of watching Abdullah Mason put on the show he just did, on the back end of watching Raymond Moratai defend his IBF title, right? On the back end of getting ready to watch Lamont Roach and William Zepeda figure it out as far as the WBC conversation is concerned. There was only one missing part of this conversation, and that was definitely the WBA title. So great to hear that finally Oscar De La Hoya locked that in for Floyd Schofield Jr.
Stop the cap.
Shout out to Floyd Schofield Sr. for putting in the work and getting his lawyers involved and putting in that that paperwork to petition for his son to put that pressure on the WBA to barbecue or mildew with Tank Davis.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
Oscar.
Stop the cap.
We love the wig. We love the wig. Keep the wig. Keep the wig. Keep the Clapback Thursdays rolling. That entertainment is priceless. Just entertainment, but hey, man, the world has a lot going on today, and the most is more, the most entertainment we can get, the best for us, right? It is what it is, right? It is what it is. Just continue to stay out the way of the biggest fights happening in boxing. Let's stay out the way of that, right? So what have we addressed today? We addressed the Floyd Schofield Jr. situation. We addressed Oscar Collazo. Gervonta Tank Davis is, the DAZN and the PBC finally coming together. Let's close that out and land a plane on that one real quick. So, interestingly enough, I'm hearing in the streets that Gervonta Tank Davis may not be part of this PBC DAZN deal. I don't know how that works out. What does that mean? Does that mean that Gervonta Tank Davis is no longer part of the PBC, or does that mean there are some fighters on the PBC roster who don't fall underneath the umbrella of the DAZN or don't fall underneath the jurisdiction, the rights of Gervonta? How is that working out? Is Gervonta Tank Davis officially? I mean, I guess there's a whole entire TGB aspect of this conversation that we haven't talked about, right? That Tom Brown is the actual promoter for all these fighters, and the PBC really just provide a platform for these fighters to fight on. So I guess, does that mean, when you look at Golden Boy and Ryan Garcia, for example, outside of the contract that Ryan Garcia had signed, or that Oscar De La Hoya signed off on with Turki Al-Sheikh and Sella, Ryan Garcia's fighting rights belong to the DAZN, right? Just like Anthony Joshua, I would say, and Eddie Hearn, right? Anthony Joshua's fighting rights are with the DAZN, because Anthony Joshua's with Matchroom, and the same thing for Ryan Garcia, who's with Golden Boy Promotion. Is that not the same dynamic that's working with Gervonta Tank Davis in the PBC? Maybe not, right? We'll see how that ends up playing out. But that was very interesting. But that being said, if Gervonta Tank Davis isn't going to be falling underneath that jurisdiction and he wants that freedom, does that mean that Gervonta Tank Davis is more than willing and ready to fight on other platforms outside of the PBC? Guys, that'll be very interesting. I think if we're going to be honest with each other, we know there's been fights that have not happened with Gervonta Tank Davis because of that controlling leverage, that controlling factor of where the fights needed to be. Gervonta Tank Davis was a fighter who we all know was at the top of the conversation of the cross the street politics. Ryan Garcia had to come to the PBC to make it happen, right? Right? We all got mad. Well, not all of us, but a lot of y'all got mad at Shakur Stevenson for not signing with the PBC, because we understood that that fight could not happen unless Shakur Stevenson was free, that he could not, him being with Matchroom was the biggest thing that got in the way of that fight happening, based on the fact that Gervonta Tank Davis was exclusively a PBC fighter and would not fight anybody who wasn't affiliated with the PBC. So what does that mean for Gervonta Tank Davis? On the back end of hearing information from Bill Haney, who's reached out to Al Heyman to make a fight with Devin Haney and Gervonta Tank Davis, he was told Gervonta Tank Davis cannot, I don't want to say cannot, will not be available to fight until the first quarter of 2027. Now, Gervonta Tank Davis responded to that and said, listen, I'm my own boss. Respect to Al Heyman. He is the man, but I am the boss, and nobody can't tell me what I can and cannot do. If I want to fight in 2026, that is exactly what I am going to do, right? That's what he said. But let's hear. Maybe Mike Coppinger could share a little bit on this.
Entertaining, if nothing else. Bill Haney was on this show 1 week ago and talked about a Devin Haney-Gervonta Davis fight.
Ain't no way.
Where does that stand?
Ain't no way.
Yeah,
no way.
Shady is right, and I spoke to Bill on the drive over here.
Yo, what the
Gotta
It's
pay.
so dark.
This is the Mantis Sound sleep mask that is completely blackout.
Basically, what Bill said is he spoke to Al Heyman, and in their discussions, Al said, look, Gervonta Davis is not going to be ready until Q1 of 2027 for any fight. So Gervonta Davis is not going to fight in 2026. It sounds like Bill's still very highly interested in that fight for next year. In the meantime, he said Devin has to fight, obviously. Hasn't had a fight yet in 2026. They're still looking at Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis. They prefer the Shakur fight, but if not, they will pursue that Keyshawn Davis title defense.
I got to hand it to Bill.
Hey, man, it is what it is. According to Bill Haney, yeah, that's what they're telling me, right? If I got to get the premium, I ain't trying to pay for no more of these apps and these. I'm not trying to do it no more, man. It is what it is. Y'all going to deal with some commercials, man. It is what it is. But Bill Haney makes a phone call to Al Heyman, still reaching out to Al Heyman. Clearly, Al Heyman still being the main point of contact for Gervonta Tank Davis, and got the confirmation from Al Heyman that Gervonta Tank Davis won't be available until 2027. Al Heyman still looks like he's involved in coordinating and negotiating or moderating or whatever you want to call it on the behalf of Gervonta Tank Davis. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So we'll keep an eye on that. I don't want to speculate too much in the direction of that. I'll just say that at the end of the day, I'm more so excited to hear that the PBC looks like they have striked a multi-fight deal with DAZN, and that's great for the PBC fighters. That's great for certain fighters that we were looking to see, like Errol Spence. We see Jermall Charlo seems to be okay with that. Let's see Jermell falls into line. It'll be great to see the PBC fighters get active again. And hell, maybe we'll see I don't want to reach, but maybe we'll even see the PBC sign some fighters, right? Maybe we'll also see that, right? And that'll be great for the boxing sport. Once again, shout out to DAZN, man. DAZN doing great things here, man. I got to give them their props. I got to give them their flowers, man. DAZN has just been amazingly handling 2026. What a great year on the back end of a lot of drama and things happening in the space, man. It was great to see DAZN put on their thinking cap and say, you know what? We got to fight, not just with our words and not just with wigs on our head or antics, but with actual action here, as we do need to we need to speak to the boxing fans and start treating them right. It is what it is. A lot to talk about, guys. Listen, the Discord lines are open. If you're in the building, you see the link in there for the Discord. It's also pinned up in the chat. Become a part of the Discord community. I'm trying to build that community up. That's an easy way to get on here and shoot your, give me your 2 cents on the topics that we have on hand. Let me take a moment to go ahead and shout out to everybody who is in the building. I didn't do that. Wanted to go through my spiel, right? I mean, I still haven't talked about Deontay Wilder and Alexander Usyk, but let me shout out to everybody in the building. My guy, Winston McFarland in the building. Salute, says they on their grind, but they do shady business. Yeah, they all do shady business, man. Boxing has always been a lawless land. We've talked about this from the beginning, man. DAZN isn't the grandfather or the father of bad business or corruption or all those different things. And neither is Zuffa Boxing, neither is Dana White, neither is Oscar De La Hoya. This is the ways of the space that we're in, right? And this is how these promoters have always positioned themselves. But that's why I've always stood on the outside looking in, ladies and gentlemen, even on the back end of this Ali Act being revived, a revised version of it. It never threw me because I knew at the end of the day, I talked to enough boxers to know that the Ali Act, while it's been there with great intentions, has been surpassed many times. Loopholes have been used to do boxers dirty, to take their money, right? This is to manipulate and to take advantage of boxers who don't have a lot, who don't come from a lot, who are trying to make their dreams come true. This is the law of the land. At the end of the day, the dollars make sense. If it makes money, it is what it is. There isn't all of a sudden this honorable way of doing it that has been done, and all of a sudden Zuffa Boxing's coming in with some dishonorable way of doing it. This doesn't exist. What exists is businessmen will be businessmen, promoters will be promoters, and pieces of will be pieces of right? It is what it is.
You ain't qualified to give motherfucking rules on the fucking game, you fucking bozo.
That's just the fact of the matter. At the end of the day, it's about the fighters getting the best deals that they can get and make the best money and get as active as they can and grow their brand on the biggest stages. And that's what the boxing game now has had to come to the understanding that you're going to have to deal with that, because these fighters who are seeing way beyond that That's why you see at the Senate hearing, you only saw Nico Ali Walsh sitting there speaking up for the Ali Act. That's why you saw Oscar De La Hoya reading off a paper, reading his name off the paper. I am Oscar De La Hoya. I was a champion in boxing. Hello to everybody in the Senate. The Ali Act was put here, brother, if you don't.
Stop the cap.
It is what it is, right? Shout out to, there's a link, guys, ladies and gentlemen. There's a link, by the way, for the Discord. You see it. It's also pinned up in the chat. Become part of the community, man. Hit that Discord. Become part of the community. Shout out to Akeem Blake in the building. Says, peace to the gods on earth. Guidance and blessings. Clay and Angelo. What up? Ray Davis, too. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Angelo's not even here today. So welcome down Van Houter in the building. The Mazian Van Houter's father, man. Up and coming American heavyweight. One of the best that we're going to look forward to seeing in the game to represent America in that heavyweight division, the Mazian Van Houter. We got Cheeks in the building. Salute to Cheeks. What's good, man? Says Zoo, ATP chat, Big Angelo. Hit that like button, share, hype, and subscribe. Clay, full-time soon. Oh, man, full-time, man. That will definitely be a good look, man. Definitely don't forget to put some color in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Hit the like button. Support the grind, man. Akeem Blake in the building. SOB TV says, salute Claymore. Blessings, brother. Blessings to you, man. Winston McFarland says they only on the grind. They on their grind, but they do shady business. I already read that, didn't I? The Zone has had bad business practices. They all have, man. Shout out to Oscar De La Hoya, man. I'm glad he's figuring it out with Vergil Ortiz Jr. in court right now as we speak. James Valdez in the building. Salute. James Valdez 403 says, just came in to smash the like button. Yeah. I appreciate you, James. Maybe you'll pop back in. Go ahead and hit that Discord link as well, man. Become part of that community as well, man. Mine Yours in the building says, salute Claymore, the Rain Man. My top 3 boxing pods. Probably a tie for Keep Cooking. No doubt. Let's go. Roger that in the building says, Claymore ATP, let's go. What's good with you, family? Let me see here. Let's continue to go down. My guy, Rich Porter in the building. Rich Porter in the building. Salute, family. Long time no see, man. If it's the same Rich Porter, which I think it is the same Rich Porter from over at Blue Bloods, I appreciate you, man. Good to see you in the building, man. Maybe become part of that Discord, man. Feel free to tap in and tap into some of these conversations, man. Roger that in the building says, love Top Rank on Ruby. He meant on Tubi. No doubt. That free shit, right? That free shit. Shout out to my guy, good Buddy Taylor in the building. Said, I thought Matchroom, Queensberry, and Golden Boy all signed to the Zone. They definitely did, but the PBC supposedly is in the midst of finalizing a multiple fight deal, which is interesting. Multiple fight deal, what does that mean? I didn't hear they say that about Matchroom. I didn't hear they said that about Golden Boy, multiple fight deal. I thought it was like multiple years, or is it a certain amount of fights? Certain amount of events? Is the PBC under another like weird supervised no distribution deal? Like, what's going on with them? I don't know. We'll talk about it because my guy Ray Davis in the back, and we'll bring it up and have those conversations. But I think wording is very important, especially when you're talking about legalities. Multi-fight deal. I got to look back and see what Matchroom got with it. Did Matchroom announce a multi-fight deal? Did Golden Boy announce a multi-fight deal? Or, I don't know, man. Shout out to Roger that in the building, man. Super Galaxy Godstar in the building. Says, I think Vergil should beat Josh Kelly and get his belts. And Boots should fight Fundora and get his belt. And then Boots and Vergil fight for all the belts. What do you think? Clay?
Yeah, listen. That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about it, right? Because although Oscar De La Hoya right now is talking about putting this Vergil Ortiz, Jaron Boots, and his fight together, one important thing that he said inside that clip that I played is it's up to Boots. Right? It's up to Boots.
You ain't qualified. They laughing at you, nigga.
Oscar.
They laughing at you, nigga.
So we got to talk about what Jaron Boots Ennis is going to do. Make it make sense, right? Jaron Boots Ennis actually in the driver's seat here. And does it make sense for Jaron Boots Ennis to actually fight Vergil Ortiz next? Shout out to my brother, Super Galaxy Godstar in the building, bringing up something that's a very important conversation. Do I necessarily agree in that path that you have there? Not necessarily. I would reshuffle things a little bit, but 100%, can this fight between Vergil Ortiz Jr. and Jaron Boots Ennis be a bigger fight? And how would it be a bigger fight? Titles, unification, things of that nature. I think you're going down the right path here, right? But I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter either way, but one way seems more realistic than the other way. We'll talk about that when I get my co-hosts up here. We'll have that conversation. But you got your thinking hat on, Super Galaxy Godstar. You got your thinking hat on for sure, brother. Shout out to my brother, Jehoshem Wagner. Jehoshem Wagner. Did I say it right? Mike, you let me know. Can I call you Jehoshem? Did I say it right? And if I didn't say it right, then salute, Mike. Good to see you in the building, man. Salute my brother Mike in the building here, man. Let me see who else is I'm missing here as I'm going down the list. Sonny Augustine in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good? What the media 77 in the building says salute, Clay. Salute, 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 salute. Akeem Blake says Collazo is trying to take Bam Rodriguez belts. He vacated to move up because Sandoval is trash. Basura.
Yeah, listen. That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
I mean, he's moving up, though. He's getting closer to the big conversation. Rumors circulating in this space that people would love to see Oscar Collazo get that fade with Bam Rodriguez. At 112, he gets a little bit closer, right? He's still 2 weight classes away from where he is right now, and we know Bam is planning on going up to 122. Well, we're hearing Bam is planning to go to 122 to fight Monster anyway. But hey, man, big move for Oscar Collazo, who wants to become a bigger star in the space. We're not here in America really that fanatic about 105 pounders, right? That's not our thing here. If Oscar Collazo is going to get in a conversation like Bam Rodriguez is in right now, then he probably does need to get as close to those bigger weight classes, the 118s, the 122s, right? You know, if you can get to 122, that'd be awesome for you, right? I don't see him going all the way up to 126 and definitely not 130. But then again, you never know. You never know, right? Let me see here. Super Galaxy says, no respond to my question first, then I'll like the scream. Do you think what? Okay, well, like it now. I answered the question, Super Galaxy Godstar. Now like it now, huh? Like it now. I answered the question, didn't I? Like it now, man. Oh, man, let me see here. Dragonfly Jones in the building, man. Salute to Dragonfly Jones in the building. My guy, True Power Media in the building. Salute, salute, salute. True Power Media, what's good with you, man? Isaiah Wallace in the building. Salute to you, family. We fight all night with the salutation. Salute to you, family. What's good with you? What's good with you, man? Glory of him, Rich Boxman. Salute, 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 salute. Stock Chasers in the building. My guy, Stock Chasers in the building. What's good, man? Fly Frequency. Hit me with assalamu alaikums back at you. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh. Ma Aki in the building, man. Shout out my brother Fly Frequency in the building, man. Roger that in the building. Salute, salute. Did I miss anybody here? Let me see, because it's about that time. Oh, my brother HLD in the building, man. With the $5, telling the world the right thing. Hit the like button. Wipe your feet before you walk into the building. Super Galaxy Godstar. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. And I appreciate all the love and all the color that you guys are going to put in the chat and have put in the chat, man. Thank you in advance. HLD with the $5 says, are you entertained? Then wipe your feet and smash that MF and like button for our brother Clay Moore Rain, man.
Listen. That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Dez215 in the building. Shout out to my brother Dez215 in the building. Winston McFarland with the paragraph says, I meant that DAZN does business for the customers. First, it was one price, then it changed. I see where you're going with this. That was expected. Then they said no pay-per-view. That is true. That changed. Then they also tried charging you for canceling the sub. DAZN, man. I can't sit here and defend you guys all the time. You know what I mean? $50 is $50. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But hey, at least they're putting more promotional companies underneath the same umbrella. And on the back end of that, what does that mean? That means that we're getting more boxing. They're killing across the street politics. Maybe at some point, the price point will meet the product, right? Maybe it'll make more sense on the back end of that. Jesse 3862 in the building says there's always 2 points of views. That's a fact, man. That's a fact, man. That is a big fact here. Miss Hannah 004 in the building says you came a long way from Blue. Love, no doubt. Salute. I appreciate you. My phone ringing. Appreciate you. No problem in the building. Salute. Mr. Big Play Bray in the building said, what's good, family? What's good with you? Lil Zooted in the building says, Africa in this MFer on they dog ass. Salute, Bray. No doubt. Let me see here. Continue to go down the list. Yeah, I got that soundbar going crazy today. No doubt, man. Shout out to my brother Marcus Warren in the building with the $2. Says salute Clay in the chat, man. Mr. Big Play Bray says salute. Salute to you, family. Thank you for the $2, man. Khalik 205 says salute. Salute, Khalik. That was a lot. I don't feel like I've seen you before, but you remember, so I'm assuming you changed your name. Khalik 6205. Salute to you, family. Mihai 683 Kracian 7 says Garcia versus Kaduru for WBA Super Champ Heavyweight. Who you got this weekend? That is the fight of the weekend here. I'm not too familiar with Kaduru, man. With Kadiru, I'm not that familiar with him. Garciev, I am. I'm not that impressed with Garciev, but I know he's a disciplined Eastern European style boxer, big puncher. You know what I'm saying? If I had to go on namesake, I guess I would lean with Garciev. But once again, I'm not very familiar with Kadiru, bro. I don't want to lie to you, brother. I'm really not, man. Let me see here. All right, so we got everybody in the building, man. Help me finish in my workday. Q2 556 in the building. Salute. Before we go any further, man, let's go ahead and talk about these topics I got here on the table here. Bringing my brother Ray Davis in the building. What's good, Ray? What's good, family? What's good, man? Another one for you, man. Talk to the people, Ray. How you feeling, man? Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I am. I'm trying to do my best Chris Algieri impersonation. You know what I mean? When he get a tan in the summer, but it's all good.
No doubt, man. How's everything going, man?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good, fam. Shout out to the panel. To the chat. The panel futurely, obviously. Listen, man. Great topics, man. Great conversation, man. Yeah. All this and then some. And Oscar should be ashamed of himself.
Hold it down for 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do your little soliloquy.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, Oscar should be ashamed of himself, the way he's approaching things and how he's moving. And he keeps trying to push the needle on everyone else. That's just diabolical. It's so dissatisfying to see a person like Oscar De La Hoya, who's such a great boxer in the sport, to give us a whole bunch of great fights and always looking for the best fights and always looking to be the best in his era, to turn around and take his fighters, especially his best fighters, and try to keep that O against on them and not let them fight the best, right? Even though some of his fighters, his best fighter, Ryan Garcia at the moment, has took 2 losses, he's still out there acting crazy and shady, bro. And all that little wig hopping and dress wearing and lingerie wearing and high heels. Man, listen, somebody need to go check this fool, man. See if he back out there hanging out with David Benavidez. Oops, did I say that? That's another person we got a problem with. As much as I used to dislike David Benavidez, and I gave him the crown right now, talking about he's probably the #1 boxer in the world. And me saying that, he turned around and had some personal problems, which we don't like talking about personal situations. But when it comes to anything that can hurt your career and it hurts us seeing you in the boxing ring, it's something to talk about. And I hope he handles that, man. Shout out to David Benavidez and his family. For real. I'm gonna let Clay bring it back.
No doubt. Back at it, man, for sure, man. And look, man, listen, bro. I'm just calling it how I see it when it comes to this Oscar De La Hoya conversation. I don't want to sit here and I don't want to, dismiss who he is. And shout out to Max Kellerman, who did the right thing, right? Max Kellerman is such a professional through and through, right? People can say whatever they want to say about him, but he is a professional through and through. And what he said was right? He said the one good thing he could say about Oscar. He said, man, when he was a boxer, he was hell of a boxer, man. Hall of Famer, man. One of the best in the game, man. And that's how you deal with situations like that. Is I give you shine where you deserve it. And like he said at the end of it, and I've been saying this, right? What an entertainer. You know what I'm saying? He's become today, right? But a whole lot of smoke, no fire with him. I'm just happy that on the back end of all these clapback Thursdays and all these antics or whatever it is, DAZN does seem to have chilled him out, put a little water in his wine, and got it to where he's not using his authority to get in the way of the biggest fights happening with his fighters, right? Because that was the big issue, I think, for all of us as boxing fans, watching him, step into the game with that type of energy, with that type of attitude, as far as, I'm going to take away fights from fans and make it, paint this picture. I think one of the things I hated the most from him is him trying to sell us on other fights. Like, I don't know why. We don't need to do that. We can give you guys this. And it was like, yo, bro, what? Bro, what are you talking about, bro? You playing with my intelligence right now, bro? What are you talking about? Errol Spence and Vergil Ortiz Jr. and the Cowboy Stadium? What? No, Ennis versus Ortiz. Ennis versus Ortiz. What are you talking about, man?
Stop the
Dallas
cap.
versus Philly.
I mean, and that's what it came down to with him. And I was very happy to see, him in his wig saying something that I actually wanted to hear, right? In his wig saying something that I actually wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Humble.
Hey, bro, it is what it is. I appreciate it, man. Just keep doing it. I'm not even mad at you, brother. I'm going to support you doing that. Continue to do that, man. On the back end of that, we heard him speaking about the Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn situation. I love the way he tried to, deliver that, he's going to give us that fight, right? And I thought it was interesting that Mike Coppinger kind of addressed it and said, yeah, I don't know why he's doing all that, bro. He really ain't got nothing to do with that. Really can't get in the way of that. What'd you think of that?
I thought that was funny because even in his first part of the interview, he was like, yeah, I ain't got no involvement, blah, blah, blah. But he mentioned that he had a 2-fight deal and tried to take full credit. You need to go through me. Then as soon as Mike Coppinger dropped that link, he decided to come up and was like, yeah, well, I'm going to allow the fight happen. Man, you ain't allowing shit. You know that you had no control over this. You know he signed that deal and it locked your ass out. And for you to even try to sit there and take any type of credit, you're delusional. Matter of fact, get off the booger sugar, bro, because for real, this dude is as fake as his girl's body, bro.
I would say that. I thought it was interesting because even with the whole entire sending the cease and desist list, what was that all about? Well, cease and desist from what?
That's because the DAZN had put that out to Zuffa about Zuffa trying to put on the fight and saying that Zuffa cannot put that fight on because of the whatever litigations. But DAZN has to remember, if it was really a DAZN comment, because we did see the text, DAZN has to remember that some of that percentage is owned by Turkey. And not only that, Turkey owns Zuffa. So if he decides that he wants to put that fight on Zuffa or Netflix or whatever he wants under the Zuffa banner, DAZN just got to shut up and chill, bro. You know what I mean? Just chill. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. Relax. You won't get your money. Matter of fact, y'all can co-promote this. Y'all can put it on your platform and we put it on that platform and we just have it all over the world. We good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was very interesting because to see that Mike Coppinger said that he never even had a say in the conversations. The first thing that came to my mind was like, well, I mean, I didn't care. I don't really care too much about what Oscar De La Hoya says because I know I'm telling you, I'm just nothing personal against Oscar. I promise you. Just as far as his boxing conversations talk, I've seen that man talk out of both sides of his neck so many times. I've seen him say one thing one day. I've seen him said that Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia would not happen under his watch. And then 3 to 4 days later saying that's the biggest fight that could be made right now. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen him literally go back and forth on certain things. I don't take him seriously, but I did think it was interesting when he sent the cease and desist letter because I was like, wow, maybe he does have some kind of legal, thing about this that we need to respect. If Dana is violating some understanding and agreement that's there as far as Ryan Garcia is part of the conversation is concerned about, and he's helping to coordinate this fight, then maybe this fight might not happen. But to see Mike Coppinger say that, it just once again just showed the extent that Oscar would be willing to go to. Maybe like you said, he was piggybacking off the back of DAZN, right? Who was sending a letter as far as Ryan Garcia and that fight not happening on DAZN, maybe that fight happening either on Paramount or on Netflix, wherever it was. I'm sure that's going to get figured out. I'm sure DAZN has made sure that's getting figured out because I don't think that fight happens on Zuffa. I think that fight happens on Netflix. I think it's a Ring Magazine card, and I think that's going to be a Turkey Al Sheikh situation because the same thing for Oscar as far as Ryan Garcia is concerned, I think is the same thing with Conor Benn as far as Dana White is concerned, right? It's like I have him signed already and locked in for multiple fights. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we're working that out with as far as the money that we've given Conor Benn. And once again, we're going to watch that continue to develop, right, Ray, as far as how these relationships are going to work out with Dana White, how the the Shakur Stevenson relationships, the Devin Haney relationships, the Conor Benn relationships. How do these relationships work out? Because although Jairo Pataya, we've seen how it worked out with him, but Jairo Pataya, in my opinion, is a legitimate Zuffa boxer who's fighting for the Zuffa boxing belt. He's really operating in that system. I'm still wondering if that's going to really be the case for the Shakur Stevensons. Like I said, you know what I'm saying, the Devin Haneys, the Conor Benns, you know what I'm saying? Is that how that's going to work for them as well? Are they going to be in those conversations? Right. You know what I mean? And how that's going to play out. So look, Jaron Ennis and Vergil Ortiz Jr. is the big topic right now. They're on the thumbnail for a reason. One of the biggest fights over the years has turned into one of the biggest fights that could be made in the space. We saw how that ended up at the end of 2025 with that face-off that happened inside that ring, right? And then we saw that fight fall to shit, obviously, with Ryan Garcia. With Oscar De La Hoya and with Vergil. We watched that thing turn real ugly and the fight didn't come together. These guys have almost been there so many times at this point, whether it was Turkey trying to put together a fight between Boots and Vergil when Boots decided to stay at 147 to go for unifications, whether it's Boots going in and fighting Usman Lima, and a lot of people thought he could have fought Vergil then. And if you listen to Vergil Ortiz's team, he felt like that fight could have been made and that Boots chose the quote-unquote tune-up, right? Turkey Al-Sheikh confirmed that as well on the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Ness, and said that, he wanted that fight and that Boots and Eddie Hearn wanted a tune-up and he don't pay for tune-ups. And then we thought after all that got ironed out between the Usman Lima situation and everything like that, when we saw Jaron Boots Ennis with that face-off with Vergil Ortiz, it felt like that fight was definitely going to happen, and it didn't again. Then we saw Vergil get put on the shelf for months working this out in the courtroom. Now we're hearing Eric Gomez put out tweets, Rick Meridian confirming, Robert Garcia confirming, Vergil and Oscar De La Hoya seem to be getting on the same page again. Let's let bygones be bygones. Let's put together the biggest fights. Now on the back end of watching Jaron Boots Ennis off of the performance of his career, the biggest fight of his career against Xander Zayas, pick up a unification here and become the man at 154 as far as I'm concerned. Now, of course, Oscar De La Hoya, Vergil Ortiz, super interested in this fight, right? This is the fight that needs to happen. They're putting it on. My question to you, Ray, is this the next fight for Boots Ennis? Is that what makes sense for the boxing space? Are we ready to see Boots fight Vergil Ortiz? And is that what Boots and Eddie Hearn is thinking now? Because Oscar said an important thing. This is up to Boots.
Listen, I think it is something that's very realistic. I think we also have to listen to Eddie and Boots on the other side of that. But let's stand on the first part of the question. The reason why this is such a important topic for Boots, for Vergil and Oscar, is the fact that there's money in the fight now, Clay. Where before they weren't going to get the money in the fight. Remember that they were all looking for like 10 million, 7 million, whatever the case was. Guess what's in the fight now? That's 7 to 10 million because Boots just sold out the whole 154 division, and now he's the man in the division. Probably one of the top paid fighters in boxing right now under heavyweight. So we're going to start seeing that bag roll his way, that truck, they say, right, backing up to that bank vault of Boots Ennis. So people are going to be willing to get in the ring with him now. They're going to be willing to take the deck, except for that tall guy out there on PBC. But that's another conversation. That's another part of the conversation.
But that might be. Well, go ahead, but I mean, I was going to say that might be out right with the PBC, with the Zone now, right? The Zone now becoming super active, and that's what I said. Shout out to the Zone because they get involved in these conversations. Sebastian Fundora might not be able to hide as much as we thought he is.
Can't. No, you're going to get to that, but let's talk about the other end. Why Eddie Hearn is so interested in this what's the name fight over Vergil Ortiz right now. I don't know why I keep forgetting the dude name that got the belt. I always want to call him Smith, but he's not Smith.
Wait, you talking about 154? You talking about John Kelly?
Josh Kelly, the Irish dude, right? The reason why that's more interesting, because we could see this fight overseas in England, Wembley, or any other place under one of these big heavyweight undercards and watch them roll the bank, really roll the bank, really go out there and fight in front of a bunch of fans, making Boots a bigger international star than he ever thought he would be. And that right there makes even more money for him. That brings more fighters to him. That brings more of the attention to him. And that's going to change the way that we look at Boots Ennis. And that's why I'm saying that the truck is backing up, bro. Beep, beep, beep. Boots, open up. Got to take your bag to the bank because that's what's happening right now. And these dudes are trying to line up to get a piece of the cut. And that's why you're starting to see all these names starting to fly out of the water. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him after fighting Josh Kelly. We see a return of our boy Jermall Charlo. Him trying to get that fight. You know what I mean? Why not? And especially if PBC is linked into a couple fights with the zone, let's not forget about Earl Spitz and Tim Tszyu. Winner of that fight could be lined up, because you know how the WBO and the WBC, all these guys get second chances after losses. So why not when these guys get up there and be one of the big names they want to throw in front of Boots' way, just to see if they can solidify the title and get somebody to knock him off on the PBC side of the street. Because we know Sebastian Fundora, it wasn't even the PBC that said he wouldn't fight him. It was his management. You know what I mean? That dude, Linkowitz, is diabolical, bro. He wants to move and stay away from all the big fights. He just wants to hold on to that little green belt and cry me a river, saying, hey, they got to come to me. They got to do this. Listen, man, you a small fry with a big guy, pause, on Boots Ennis right now, who's controlling the division. So you better get your shit together, Mr. Samuel, and also
Samson,
get in the picture. Samson, thank you. And get into the picture.
Yeah, listen, man. I like everything that you were saying here, man. Without a doubt, I think the biggest variable in this conversation is Eddie Hearn, in my opinion, right? And that's who Boots has on his side. And he has one of the best boxing promoters in the traditional space right now, maybe even in boxing, period, in Eddie Hearn. Got to give Eddie Hearn his flowers and say that this man has been moving like a G for the past couple of years right now, really just positioning himself, not only with putting on, not only with the way he's been moving his current fighters, but also with his fighter acquisition, right? He renews his deal with Diego Pacheco. He works with Shakur Stevenson. He signs Jaron Boots Ennis. You know what I mean? He had something going on with Richard Hitchens, but that didn't work out for him. But, obviously what he's done with AJ and, fighters like Ben Whitaker, and he's slowly but surely building a very formidable roster of fighters, right? A nice stable of fighters, and he knows how to move them correctly. And the thing with Jaron Boots Ennis for him, and he picked up Jaron Boots Ennis when it seemed impossible to make a Jaron Boots Ennis fight happen that made sense. He faced everything from him being from the UK, from Jaron Boots Ennis being one of the most dangerous boogeyman at 147. Everybody was pricing themselves out. We saw public negotiations between Eddie Hearn and Brian Norman Jr.'s camp. And, we watched a Stanionis fight get made damn near not get made, according to Tom Brown, who said that he wanted Stanionis to ask for more money. They almost did not even take the fight. To see him take Boots Ennis at this point right now, he was able to unify him at 147, get him a lineal title, and now found the way to move him through the situation, through the shark-infested waters, by the way, of 154, get him in front of a young Xander Zayas and make him the only unified champion in the division. You got to give Eddie Hearn his damn flowers, right?
Absolutely.
Right? That being said, what is Eddie Hearn advising Jaron Boots Ennis to do right now? Because, yeah, of course, Oscar De La Hoya first of all, they've seen him get hit inside of that third round, and I'm sure they believe they can do better than what Xander did. And I'm sure they believe that they were able to get that shot off like Xander did, that they could hurt Boots, and they should feel very confident they can stop Boots. I mean, that's what they're supposed to feel like, right? So that's the same thing that happened on the back end of the Xander fight with not Xander, on the back end of the Karen fight with Jaron Boots Ennis. That performance, it seemed like all of a sudden now he started to get a little bit more attention. And some people like Teofimo Lopez, for example, these people all of a sudden like, I smell blood in the water. They wanted these fights.
Brian Norman.
Right? Brian Norman Jr. all of a sudden wanted that fight again, right? Where he kind of priced himself out in the first wave of things. And the second time he was ready to do whatever needed to be done because he's seen a way that his son could win that fight. Obviously, on the back end of these performances, I think that was the Stanionis fight actually, to when they changed their mind, right? Seeing how he won the Stanionis, right? Yeah. And that he was a unified champion at that point. They were probably like, maybe we could be a 3-belt unified champion in the division, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what is Eddie Hearn going to advise him to do? And of course, Eddie Hearn is managing Josh Kelly as well. So he has to kind of look out for both fighters' best interests. But at the end of the day, I think the best interest for Matchroom is the fighter who can take this all the way to the end, right? It's not, Josh Kelly is not, we don't see Josh Kelly beating Sebastian Fundora or beating Vergil Ortiz Jr. or, or beating Boots, to be honest with you, right? So, I mean, you can't see it because he's a skilled boxer, but I'm just saying, if you're Eddie Hearn, you got to kind of weigh it out. Who more than likely between those two guys, between Jaron Boots Ennis and Josh Kelly, can get you to the promised land? I'm going to put my vote in the hat of Jaron Boots Ennis. I think that's what Eddie Hearn is looking at right now. So does Eddie Hearn put that fight on knowing that he's going to be taking that belt from Josh Kelly? Does he look at it like, look, man, you got to break some eggs and make an omelet? the champion of 154, the best 154 pounder in the world, who Eddie Hearn has spoken about constantly, is Jaron Boots Ennis. So you make that fight happen first, let's say. What does Vergil do to make it make more sense for Jaron Boots Ennis at this point? How does Oscar and Golden Boy move with Vergil at this point to make that fight make more sense to a fighter who's made it public to the world that he's looking to become undisputed at 154? Talk to me, Ray.
Ooh, boy. Let's talk some smoke. Yes, Eddie is right there on fire, like you just said. Eddie has every right to make the best thing happen. And what does he get? Guess what he gets? He gets another truck to back into the Boots machine, bro. You know what I mean? He gets a bag too. Why not? Because this is a machine that's waiting to happen. It's just a slot machine called Boots, and you just pull, you get them sevens, and here it goes. So yeah, that money is there for Eddie as well, especially if he puts another fighter in there with him, which he's going to sell out in his hometown or close to his home stadium and bring his fans there. Oh yeah, double bagging. Ain't nothing wrong. Pause on that too. But listen, but Eddie Hearn is right now it does something that, and I want to give him much respect. I'm going to stay on topic, but I want to actually stretch it out a little bit, pause, and say that Eddie Hearn has been on this app, DAZN, and Matchroom, pushing this thing for years, saying he's going to take over the United States, constantly pushing and making moves. He has made the moves. He has solidified himself in the game. He has gotten the people that he needed over there, thus now, to push DAZN forward or push Matchroom forward. And Matchroom is definitely a big contender in boxing. And because of that, he is showing the now, I wouldn't be surprised they're not number one or Frank Warren and them neck and neck. But yeah, they're right there. And the fact that Matchroom is able to hold its own and literally look down on all the American promoters right now and say, hey, you want some of this, you got to come over here, because this is what I got. And I have more, like you said, eggs to scramble to make an omelet. Absolutely. You don't have shit to stand on. You know what I mean? Just go get some oil or some butter, throw it in a pan. We'll season the eggs a little bit. We'll try it, but we don't know if you can buy it. So Eddie Hearn is in the right space, right time, right moment, and has made the moves correctly after his debacle initially with DAZN, and his dad had to come bail him out. Guess what? He's back on top right now, and he's making the right moves. And I think Boots is the greatest show on turf right now. And I think he's got a lot of things with manager Shakur and all these other things going on. And partly, let me hold on. Let me quotation. Manager Shakur, because he's not really managing, but he has some insight and a lot of perspectives to work with. So he's able to make these changes and these things in the game work for him with all these other fighters. Bam Rodriguez, another one. You know what I mean? You can put a line of superstars on his card, and he can get the best fights for you. He can do one at a time, a headline all these cards, and he'll still have the best fights with some guys underneath those guys, and still able to make these fights happen. And now he has nobody to block him from going across the street. Man, listen, guess what, PBC? Your little 4-fight, 3-fight deal that you kind of did with Amazon, and you tried to work it out with DAZN to try to buy the rest of those fights, no problem. We'll do it. Yeah, we'll do it. But guess who you got to fight? You got to fight our top guys. Guess you got to do. Don't try to.
But question is, what does Eddie advise? What does he do with Jaron at this point? Because if Vergil, he's getting
he's going to move to Josh Kelly. He already mentioned that that's the biggest fight to make right now. That keeps Josh Kelly away from Bakram, and Bakram getting that title if it's possible, right? It keeps Vergil hungry, right? Now Vergil has to go do something and prove something. Rather he goes fight Fundora, rather he probably tries to get a fight with Xander or somebody else likely. He has to stay hungry. He has to get back in the ring. I don't think he's ready to jump back in there with the GOAT.
And I think the very important thing that what you just said right now is you need to put Josh Kelly in a position right now. You need to keep that belt over at Matchroom. And is Josh Kelly the type of fighter who's going to protect that belt until it's time for him to make a fight, right? If you want to keep that belt over there at Matchroom, you want it to be with Jaron Boots Ennis. And like you said, that Bakram rematch is, I don't care how good Josh Kelly looked in the first fight. I think most people are still going to favor Bakram to win the second one. I'm not saying that that's necessarily where I'm at with it. I haven't thought about it long enough to really give. I'm not sitting here giving my take to say it. I think Josh Kelly's going to lose that second fight. But what I'm saying is, if you're Eddie Hearn and you're trying to protect the opportunity to have an undisputed champion at 154, and you truly believe that Jaron Boots Ennis is the biggest star right now, one of the biggest stars in the world. He's on that pound for pound list now, but definitely more importantly in this conversation, the biggest star at 154 and the biggest champion, then you make that fight happen with Josh Kelly. You let Jaron Boots Ennis prove it, pick up a unification. That's cool. As far as the Vergil Ortiz side of the conversation is concerned about, the only thing it seems like Vergil Ortiz brings to the table right now is liability and some momentum as far as people wanting to see that fight. But as far as Jaron Boots Ennis, somebody who's weighing out a decision between, let's say, Vergil Ortiz and a Sebastian Fundora, I mean, come on. I think one sticks out over the other one. I mean, without a doubt, Sebastian Fundora may be the more dangerous, the more, physically complicated fighter to fight against, but at least he's carrying that WBC title, aligns with Jaron Boots Ennis's goals. What does Vergil do to get in that conversation the right way? Because it is a big fight, but now I think the conversation's changed a little bit now because Jaron is a unified champion now. It looks like if he works out to Eddie's plan, will be a 3-belt unified champion. How does Vergil get in this conversation?
I don't think there's no way he can unless he decides to take a huge pay cut. It's going to be about the money with Vergil right now. And Virgil's
don't you think that Vergil? Okay, let me just speak frankly. I think Vergil should go fight Sebastian Fundora.
Oh yeah,
I think Vergil is sitting on an interim WBC title. You know what I'm saying? That seems like the fight that should be made. That's a relationship that's been there. Those conversations are already there between the PBC and Golden Boy. You put Vergil in there with Sebastian Fundora. Vergil, take your shot at becoming a champion. Pick up that WBC title, get an opportunity at Undisputed, get an opportunity at becoming a lineal champion. And that's the biggest fight that I think could be made right there, is if Oscar De La Hoya moves Vergil accordingly now.
Oh, not to mention, I think Boots is still the IBO champion, so he has 3 belts as we speak, by the way. But yeah, man, you're 100% right. That's why I was saying he needs to go out there and prove himself. I think the boxing fight would be better for Vergil Ortiz right now. Prove yourself against a killer. You know what I mean? Go out there and show us that you can beat somebody of significance, somebody that may be as scary as Boots to the division, right? Show us what Josh Kelly showed us. You know what I mean? Yeah, Josh Kelly went on there and sparked him. He sparked him because he didn't know what to expect with a guy that moves. Go in there and show us how tough you really are. Because when I seen you step in that ring and Boots came in, bro, I could have swore you had a frog in your throat. Because, damn, this what I'm gonna say to Devin? This is not a lightweight. This is a heavyweight. Because you seen how he looked at Boots when Boots stepped in him. He started stuttering, and we can make the fight. Oh, Earl Spence, how you looking in Dallas, baby? Come on, I need somebody to say something. Help me. You know what I mean? That they had to throw the life preserver in on him. Why? Because Vergil had reality check, and that reality check was very serious to him. And I don't think Vergil wanted to jump in the ring or the jungle, as they say, and box with the apes, bro. Absolutely not. But now he's seen a vulnerability, which we already talked about, and he should have been knowing about this vulnerability. And he still decided that, oh, now it's time to go fight Boots. I know where I can get him at. Bro, you're not getting in the pocket with Boots anything. You have to make it to that pocket. And I seen this guy hit flush punches on Xander. A lot of people thinking that Xander got knocked down and this and that was what it was. No, Boots hit him with some hard jabs, bro. Super powerful jabs and powerful hooks. Vergil, I don't think is walking through those. Xander was a big, tall, stronger, basically out of division fighter that Boots put down. And I tell you what, I don't think Vergil is capable of doing that to Xander, and I doubt he is. So if you're going to say that Vergil, and I'm not that triangle theory guy, but Clay, but if I think that Vergil has a chance, absolutely not. He needs to go prove it. He needs to go pick up a fight. He doesn't have to fight Fundora. I know that's the fight we want to see because somebody has to fight Fundora, but I think Bachram is that guy. I think that's the guy we put him in.
Yeah, I think I got to push back. I think Bachram is a waste of Vergil Ortiz's time. Right. I think he brings nothing to the table. I think if Virgil's trying to get in this fight with Jaron Boots Ennis, he has to go on a mission to go pick up a belt. He needs to right now. If you want to fight Jaron Boots Ennis, you got to feed Jaron Boots Ennis. You got to offer Jaron Boots Ennis something that he wants, and he doesn't give a damn about fighting you with no belt. It means nothing to him. He's made it clear. Jaron Boots Ennis wants to become undisputed, and he wants to do it the fastest way possible. If you don't have a belt, then that just means Jaron's going after Sebastian Fundora when it's done. And as far as him fighting Josh Kelly, that fight doesn't happen because Josh Kelly holds that IBF title. That rehydration clause, Vergil Ortiz's father has already made it clear they're not interested in getting involved in that rehydration clause based off of what happened with Vergil Ortiz at 147 with making weight. So the fight, to me personally, get right in the game. Ain't no tune-ups. Vergil's been outside the ring for less than a year. It hasn't been that long. He hasn't been outside the ring for that long. You know what I'm saying? He just feels that way because he was on the shelf to a certain degree, but not really, right? Like, when was his fight? When was I don't know if you want to look it up or but when was last?
Vergil's been over a year.
No, hell no. When was the last time he fought?
Vergil fought
it cannot be over a year. I don't believe it. Let me see here.
Hold on. It's definitely been. They tried to make that fight in November, right? So let's see. I'm definitely gonna say I think it's over a year. Let's look up Vergil.
I don't think so, man. No way, bro. No way.
I think it was last summer or the end of last summer.
He fought Erickson Lubin November.
November? Okay.
November of 2025, right before the end of the year. You know what I'm saying?
So we're about 9 months in.
Yeah, 9 months in. You jump in there with Sebastian, and hopefully you weren't like sitting there getting fat and playing video games and not staying in boxing shape. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you were doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? And you make that fight happen with Sebastian Fundora, bro. You pick up that WBC title. Boots Ennis goes after Josh Kelly, the easy fight that's there to be made. You know what I'm saying, for him, because it's a matchroom fight. He becomes a 3-belt unified champion. Vergil Ortiz is already number, like, I don't know what number he is right now in the ring rankings. I think they got Jermall Boots Ennis at number 1 right now,
I
right?
think they moved him to number 1, yeah.
So where's Vergil right now? Is Vergil number 3?
He's number 3. I think.
No, he can't be. Yeah, number 3, right?
I think he's number 3. Yeah, that's what I said, number 3. I think what's the name's number 2? So Fundora.
Sebastian, right?
Yeah.
Right. Pick up that title, because I seen somebody in the chat say he offers a lineal championship. No, not anymore. Vergil's no longer number 1 or number 2 in the rankings right now. I think I mean, I could look it up too if you have.
I got it. I'm looking it up now.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get to the daggone. Okay, here we go. Got to get to the division. All right, so we got vacant champion Boots 1. Oh, Vergil's number 2. So he just dropped number 2. All right, Fundora.
That's crazy. So they made Vergil number 2.
Yep, and
over
Fundora's number 3. Yep,
well, I mean, he was already over.
Madrimov went up, and Zayas dropped to 5, which I think is crazy. And Josh.
Okay. So there's still lineal title there for Boots if he fought Vergil. So that could be an attraction. Maybe Boots makes the fight off the back end of becoming a lineal champion off of beating Vergil Ortiz, who's number 1.
Because I told you.
Yeah, ring champion. My bad. Ring champion. Right. So how would the lineal champion be created then in that division?
Jermall has to get in the fight.
Oh, that's right. We went through this already. Jermall is the lineal champion. Okay. But that being said, it gives Boots an opportunity to pick up a Ring Magazine belt, which I don't know if that attracts him more than picking up another sanctioning body belt with the WBC, or obviously picking up an IBF belt. So Vergil needs to make it more sense. Bottom line is, I don't see that fight happening next. It doesn't make sense from my standpoint of view. It seems like the smartest move for Jermall Boots Ennis would be to go and pick up that Josh Kelly fight. On the back end of that, though, I expect the space to shake up and call Boots a duck of Vergil Ortiz, right? That's what's going to end up happening, right?
Absolutely.
He's going to be a duck for that. It is what it is. Welcome to boxing. The fans are going to believe what they want to believe. Vergil steps back into the game. I feel like that Sebastian Fundora fight is the one. Vergil, if you're watching the show, you need to make your way over to wherever Sebastian Fundora is going to be defending his title at. And when that title is done being defended, walk into the ring with that WBC interim title. Let's get that face off. Let's make that fight happen. Sebastian Fundora versus Vergil Ortiz Jr. for that WBC title. And in the meanwhile, Jaron, Eddie Hearn, work it out with Josh Kelly, make that happen. I know Josh Kelly, I think, has a fight coming up. I want to say in the coming months. Don't quote me, but I feel like he's going to be in that card with Hamza Shiraz, that 7v7.
And don't be surprised if Samson decides to put Fundora into that fight with Boots. We only hear what's on the surface. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because Al Heyman might have been like, no, man, it's an opportunity for us. That's probably why they have so many fights over there, why they have a multi-fight deal at DAZN, because this may be a fight they're looking to make. We already heard that Eddie Hearn reached out to them. We heard Boots say that he would like to make the Fundora fight, and we heard behind the scenes that they were talking. So, what's in front of us and what's behind us, behind the scenes, we don't know. There's always that curtain that we don't get to look behind, Clay. So, don't be surprised if Fundora can get in the mix.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, other news popped out, as well. So what do you think about this whole entire DAZN PBC deal? As far as the dynamics behind it, and even the elephant in the room as far as Gervonta Tank Davis, who seems to be one of their biggest stars. What do you think about that? About him not being part of this deal?
Of course, we know he's not part of that deal. You know why he's not part of that deal? Because he got that big contract from Amazon, Clay. What are we talking about? Oh, that shit ain't real. We know that's not reason why. Let's be serious with this. because it seems like Gervonta Davis is scrambling eggs right now to look for something to do. He's not mentioned because we already know in reality he's probably not allowed to fight for a while. So why even put him there and mention him in such a fight, and then have a couple fight deal? That means that you can have 3 fights in 3 months. That means you're surfacing and you already have what you have lined up with the DAZN and other promotional companies. We just are not hearing about it because you're working out the kinks. And again, Gervonta Davis is he seems to be a little rogue right now too, and to say the least. I always thought Gervonta Davis was actually about to go to Zuffa. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought that was something. Yeah, listen, sound crazy, right? But he going where the money is. Why wouldn't he? Because he know he can get a big fight with Turkey. He know he can go over there and fight on one of these ring cards. And not to mention, where the money gonna come from PBC. The last time the PBC put on fights with Tank Davis, they were in freaking classrooms. Forget about being in a ballroom. Forget about being in a daggone stadium or doing all these great and entertaining what do you call it?
A spectacle fight.
Yeah, spectacle fights, right? They had this guy in the classroom, bro. So they had to move the desk to the side. They had to put the chairs, the little hard little kid chairs there. Had the people sit there. Matter of fact, I think the last one, they ain't even had no people there to do the fight. They didn't have no media there, or it was only media. Wasn't even no fans in the building. So just the fact to let you know that, I mean, he ain't a move anymore. And I think boxing has moved on without him, and they're allowed to. And I think when it's time for him to get back in the ring, and when it's time for him to announce a fight, maybe the PBC and DAZN will decide to put him on the card or make something happen at that point. But as of right now, what's the point? He's in the dark.
I mean, for him to not be part of the deal, I mean, it speaks to me. It speaks to a couple of different things. Number one, obviously, the money wasn't there, right? Because Tank is definitely, his price point has been very high ever since Ryan Garcia. He's been chasing this price point down, right? He's not been able to get in. He showed how much he showed how disenchanted he was with the reality of the situation, that there wasn't a network out there willing to give him a Canelo check, right? He just knew he was going to be in the pay tier system of a Canelo Alvarez, and that never worked out for him. He's barely in the pay structure of an Errol Spence pre-Terrence Crawford, right? Pay structure. So of an Errol Spence. So I mean, it makes me believe that DAZN wasn't willing to offer the pay point, the price point that Tank would be interested enough to lock himself in to be under the restraints, because that's what it'd be. Because DAZN, once you're with DAZN and you're signed with DAZN, your fighting rights are there. You cannot go around and just fight anywhere else without DAZN. DAZN becomes an extra, liability, an extra mouth to feed, an extra hand in the pot. And Tank's got to feel like he doesn't want to get that part of it, get involved in that. He wants to have his freedom, and he probably does deserve it. That being said, there's not that many players out there. There's not that many options in the game for a highly priced fighter outside of something that's affiliated with Saudi Arabia, with Turkey Al-Sheikh. How does he make his way to that point to where he's getting in those conversations is the big question on the back end of watching Tank push out, shoot shots at Turkey Al-Sheikh, ask for multiple Ferraris, act like he didn't know who they were, say he doesn't need them to make money, he can make the big fights over here. He did a whole lot, right, on the buildup to that, but it does seem like the only fair game in the space right now to get Gervonta Tank Davis the money he wants is via Saudi Arabia. So he has to figure out how he's going to get there. And if it's not going to be through this deal with DAZN and the PBC, then we got to just wait. I don't want to speculate too much. You said you thought he might go to Zuffa at one point. I thought that was crazy, but then again, I didn't think Shakur was going to end up over there like that. I didn't think Devin was going to end up over there. I didn't think a lot of fighters were going to end up over there that ended up over there. So maybe they paint the picture and they make it make sense for Gervonta Tank Davis. He puts his pride to the side. Maybe they can paint it up real nice, right? Maybe Al Heyman can get it painted up real nice so where it doesn't look like he's bending the knee to Saudi Arabia and that, they need him. You know how the fans start talking about it, that they need him, and that's why they had to pull him over there, because they can't do nothing in America because Tank is the most important thing in boxing. Whatever it ends up being, if he does end up in that Saudi Arabian conversation, I think no matter where Gervonta Tank Davis ends up, he's going to end up somewhere where people are going to say, the caveat is you got to make the biggest fights though, right? You got to make ain't no more paying you. You're not going to get paid from us for fighting Hector Garcia. You you're not going to get paid from us for providing Lamont Roach. Maybe now he might, right? Just based off what Lamont Roach has been able to do. But beforehand, it's like, clearly Amazon was like, you're crazy, bro. We're not paying you a whole lot of money for Lamont Roach. We're not paying you a bunch of money to fight whoever you feel like fighting. We need the biggest fights. And the biggest fight that could be made in the game is Shakur Stevenson. So if he was to make his way over to Saudi, you got to think we're closer. And that's why I think I'm going to land my plane, right? And that's the point I'm trying to get to as I'm building up all of this, is say that it just seems like the Gervonta Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson fight becomes more and more realistic as the time goes by, right? As things start to develop, right? What do you think?
Yo, that's crazy. All that and this, but I like what I just want to turn tables with the super chat just said by HLD. I think it's 100% right, bro. They might have just sold him a bunch of mandatory fights. So a lot of those guys got to fight their mandatories, and they're not over there at the PBC. Yo, they ain't signing nobody, bro. How many times we got to tell you? The money is dry. That well is empty. Yeah, everything you said, I think I kind of touched base on with the Gervonta Davis thing. I think it's 100% what you said. There is some lackluster, and he's not feeling it. Like him even in that tweet, like, Al, don't tell me what to do and all that stuff. If that really is him, you know what I mean? Yes, Al, I still respect Al, but he's not there to tell me who I need to fight next and all that, and then some. There's a lot of empty stalls. I'll use the word stall, like horse stalls, not bathroom stalls, y'all. A lot of empty horse stalls there. There's no money in those horse stalls. Why? Because there's no horses racing, right? You need to bring the horses in to make the money. And I think Gervonta Davis knows that. He can't get there and make any money because the fact is, if HLD is right, bro, all those mandatories are being sold over there, not him. That means they
are having a presser today. Right. I didn't see it yet, but I guess they just saw it. That they were having an official announcement presser today for the PBC in the zone. So the bottom line is the zone now has a different aspect, a different standpoint on these deals, right? They're very hands-on. And this was, I remember speaking to Brad Goodman about this, the matchmaker over at Top Rank, who said that the zone 100% is way more involved in these conversations now. You know, these fights aren't just being made no more. They're not just getting a budget and getting dates and being responsible for filling those dates up with fights. The zone wants the fights to make sense, right? They're like, no, we want fights that the fans want. The whole card don't got to be the fight that the fans want, but at least the main event. We want a fight on the card that the fans are asking for. And that's why you see Oscar De La Hoya with the wig now being so motivated. And, we're making the biggest fights. Summer's looking great, right? That's where that angle is coming from. And you got to think that the zone is approaching the PBC with the same ultimatum, right? With the same with the same conversation. Like, yeah, yes, but no. You're going to come over here and you're going to make the biggest fights. The cross the street politics is dead. Your mandatories will be enforced, and you will fight the biggest fights. We want unifications. We want all these things. We are in a war, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a legitimate war with Paramount and Zuffa Boxing, and we're not going to sit here and put on these weak fights, right?
Well, let's check. I was going to check another box here, and I'm glad you said something about the deal, right? About the fight deal, because this is when you sparked my interest. Is when you said, yeah, they're only getting a fight deal. They're not getting a multi-year deal. Why? Because they tried that shit with Amazon. Amazon gave them a 14-fight deal, and they only delivered 5 fights. They didn't start their first fight till March of 2023, and then they went on from there to not have but 3 fights that year, and then next year they had another 3-4 fights. Then they started building up a little bit, and then went right back down. Went from like a 5-fight year to like now, they only had 2 fights this year. That's crazy, and they're about to have a third. And that's not even really a PBC card. That's really a no limit card, to say the least. But yeah,
and it's going to be on the zone,
right? And it shows at least that PBC has their hands tied. And you know what? You got to take what you can get before the, especially when you're trying to bite the hand that feeds you. And if they're going to do that, they're going to have to bow down to the zone, and they're going to have to accept what they're given. And that's a thing. I think that's the biggest reason why you're not going to see Gervonta Davis over here, because he's not going to take less than what he needs or what he feels
he wants. Yeah. Yeah, Gervonta Tank Davis definitely wants to be free. If he wants to get the biggest paydays, and this network deal is not paying out fighters the way he wants. I don't know how much David Benavidez made to fight Zerto Ramirez. I don't know how much Xander and Jaron made in that fight, right? Abdullah either, right? If you want to use that name as well. The big paydays don't seem to be like the zone fights necessarily. They seem to be Ring Magazine fights, right? Where Turkey's involved in it. One second here. Let me hit HLD up on that super chat. I appreciate the love, man. With the screen icon. What did it say?
This is
Okay, I don't know what
PBC
happened.
just sold to the DAZN a bunch of mandatory fights on a multi-fight deal, not a multi-year deal, which basically you spoke on. But you know, he just
right. That's exactly what I was saying. The words make a difference, right? The right words make a difference. You got to look at the words, especially when you're dealing with legalities and things of that nature. And they said multiple fight deal. They didn't say multi-year deal. So yeah, without a doubt. HLD for sure, man. Let me see here. He says they just announced it on the presser. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, you got to read these things correctly, right? I didn't see the press yet, but that's what I was saying earlier. That hey, bro, that wording was very interesting. Multi-fight deal, not multi-year deal. What the hell was that all about? Who are you trying to run that past? You know what I'm saying? You try to slide that one past. He says nope. The PBC played them. I'm going to tell you the truth, HLD. At this point in time here, the PBC is no longer playing anybody.
Nope.
They're the only people they could play is themselves. And what I'm going to explain what I mean by that. You keep on running this reputation of burning bridges by coming up on these networks and not giving them what they want. Your reputation will start to be like a stink. It will come into the room before you do. When you're out the door, they'll say, what does that smell? Like, I think the PBC's outside sitting and waiting for a meeting for you. Oh, damn. Well, spray around because we know we're going to have to spray before they come in here. And we're going to have to spray after they leave because they're going to put stank over everything. So at the end of the day, if this is the mission statement of the PBC is to continue to play games and take money and not provide product that makes it make sense, then they are going to end up screwing themselves because the fighters need the paydays. Now, shout out to Jermall Charlo, who just did an interview with Andre Berto as well. I don't know if you got to see that interview at all, but he spoke about it. Did you see it? The interview?
Yeah.
Right. Great interview. Jermall Charlo looks dialed in, focused, man. I like how he's talking, but he seems to be excited about what the PBC is doing right now and telling the whole world that the PBC is going to return and be the top guys again. And shout out to Jermall Charlo, who has that hope, but they can't do it without fighters. And I'm sorry, you're 36 years old. Errol Spence is right around the same age. Keith Thurman, even Stephen Fulton's getting up there in age as well. These fighters are not the future. You guys are not the future. You're the past. So until I see them picking up fighters and to make it make sense, I don't know if they're going to sign Teofimo, even though I'm hearing Teofimo's supposed to be at Zuffa right now. But I don't know. That's what people, I don't know what the rumors are circulating with Keith Connolly being the manager. I wouldn't be far-fetched at all to hear that Teofimo ends up over there at Zuffa and not PBC, but they need to pick up fighters, right? But I wanted to go ahead and hear Jermall Charlo kind of speak on this a little bit as well. Jermall Charlo shared some perspective here.
Yeah, I got one more segment too after this. Right. Go ahead.
You know, so what is your relationship now with Caleb Plant? Of course, the situation happened back then between you and him. Is that something that you
just him talking on the Caleb Plant situation for sure? Then he jumps into the PBC conversation.
Still want to try to revisit, you know, moving forward. You coming back after being out for a year or so. You're going to head out to Australia. I believe you're going to dominate and do your thing. Is that something that you think that you still want to try to revisit? I think that's still a fight I want to see. What about you? Is that a fight that you think you still want to revisit?
Yeah, I want to fight him.
Yeah?
Why not? I want to do what the fans want. The fans want that fight.
Yeah.
Do the fight make sense? Who knows?
Yes,
you know? I mean, it don't matter who he lost to. Yeah. It don't matter who he beat in the past. Yeah. Time makes everything, you know, what it is. And I think a fight with Caleb Plant will give the fans a treat.
Yeah.
It'll bounce me back from like, hey, he's really serious about where he want to be in the sport. Yeah. It's the fourth quarter of my career. Yeah. Why not give Caleb Plant?
Yeah.
Why not get my leg back?
Yeah, that's a fact.
But I definitely I respect him as a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go in and fight thinking, oh yeah, I'm mad. I'm trying
to listen, man. I watch Jermall Charlo closely because he's a fighter I'm a fan of. I love to watch Jermall Charlo fight inside the ring, but obviously the outside the ring situations has always bled into his boxing career. You know what I mean? Those things have always seemed to be an obstacle for him. And we know when it comes to mental health in boxing, that is something, especially for the past couple of years, a lot of fighters have been dealing with in their own way. He seems like he's dealt with it in a way to where he kind of stood outside the ring and didn't get in the ring, became inactive, dealing with his baby mother, dealing with his brother, dealing with all these different angles. But once again, Jermall Charlo here, I got to speak to it and keep it real, sounds very sound mind, body. He sounds like he's in the right place, right? And I like the fact that he's working with Errol Spence, closer to Errol Spence. I love the fact that he's back with Ronnie Shields, right? I think all these things are a big sign about what we can expect from him. And like he said, the fourth quarter, which is the final quarter of his career, he seems to be ready to fast track to a certain degree, which is kind of crazy because fast track in the fourth quarter, right? But, a lot of time missing, a lot of years, some might say prime years missing off of Jermall Charlo. He wants to get it back in blood, and he wants to get it back in front of the fans, and he's including the fans and saying all the right things. I think a Caleb Plant fight does make sense for him right now. I think it does show the world that he's serious. I think this fight, the fight with Cornflake LaMotta did not help this conversation. The fight he's about to have right now in Australia, I don't think helps the conversation. I think a fight with Caleb Plant makes sense. It'll be at 168. The 168 division seems to be wide open. I mean, you got Hamza Shiraz there. You got Jaime Munguia. You got the champions in place, right? Christian and Billy, maybe Canelo. If Canelo beats Christian and Billy, then he's there as a WBC champion. Jermall Charlo fits in that conversation so well. But I think a Caleb Plant fight makes sense, right? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. He definitely has to get that back. And I think this is the spark, like he said, fourth quarter, right? Some way or another, you got to spark the engine, bro. Even if you left the car sitting in the road for a little bit and you decided that you want to take it out, you got to sit there, you got to retune it, oil the gears up, which he's been doing, change the tires, you know what I mean? Make it a little fly. Maybe add some little air fresheners in there, get the smell out, like he just said, Clay. But hey, let's do it. Let's get this motherfucker back on the road. Let's go. And that's what he's looking and willing to do. And I think him mentioning Caleb Plant is an interesting fight. Caleb Plant only lost to champions, bro. He didn't lose to guys. Well, he did that last fight.
Yeah, about to say last fight.
Didn't Iglesias become champion though?
Armando Resendez, yeah, he became champion.
Resendez, yeah. Okay. So anyway, what I mean? We've seen this, and these guys are all top fighters, bro. And it's good to get something back, especially when you need to. I don't think Caleb Plant takes this fight. I think Caleb Plant found his wishing days, unless he finds himself drained of money or anything like that.
Are you saying he's retired?
No. Well, he lost his coach and everything because he wasn't taking boxing seriously, right?
With Brad Mann, yeah. But do you think he's retired? Do you feel like he's not going to fight no more?
I think he's going to. He may do the same thing. He may.
If he fights again, he fights Jermall. There's
absolutely, because it's a money fight.
There's nobody else for him to fight against.
It's a money fight, right? But other than that, I don't think he fights anybody else but Jermall Charlo. So it has to be that. As far as Jermall's career, this is the spark. Like I said, he gets over that hump. He clears a next fight is a Diego Pacheco. I don't think we want to go all the way up to Hamza or any of these guys right now at the championship level, but definitely get into that contention level. Get into that 1 or 2 spot in those sanctioning bodies. Prove yourself. He has a good relationship, obviously, with the WBC, so I can see him getting that fight with a Pacheco and then maybe going in there and beating a Luka Plantic or
Joshua. But WBC would be with Billy and Canelo, right?
Well, or Lester Martinez. You know what I'm saying? To get into that spot, get in that position. So yeah,
he doesn't need. All he needs to do is, if he fights Caleb, that's the answer. That's how you do it. That gets you in the conversation. Next fight, a title. He's undefeated. Whether it's go fight one of the other champions. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, but he's 36 years old. He don't got time to be on this mission to go fight that guy, be eliminator, earn it. No, ain't no earning it.
Hey, I'm with it. I'm with it either way, Clay. You ain't gonna have me looking away from it because I'll take the championship first. All right, I'm about to head down. If you want to bring HLD up, because he's a good sidekick. He's a good sidekick, but I'm gonna be listening. I gotta get this kid to this home run derby. It ain't raining yet. All right,
do your thing. I want to continue. Let me just see here what Jermall says here about the PBC.
I'm being more strategic.
Yeah.
And I love to fight him. He needed. I'm still fighting.
Yeah.
I'm still winning.
Yeah.
I don't plan on stopping like this part of my career.
Yeah.
I'm smarter now. It's starting to actually feel like I'm at that level where like y'all either take notice or get stepped on, because we stepping on everything from this point on.
Yeah.
I feel good, my body good, I'm healed. I'm like taking the 2 years off prior to this year off, fighting once or twice in between was like enough to keep me in the gym and keep me going. But like it's like 3 years, 4 years back.
Yeah.
Even though I'm 36, I feel like I'm badly 32, 30 or something.
You've been waiting to put your foot back on the gas for a nice
I've been waiting on, all situations, everything's rebuilding itself. PBC will be the #1 watch network when it comes to boxing. You know, everyone has their time. So shout out to everybody in, you know, Saudi Arabia, everybody, you know, I'm not trying to like name drop or do no crazy, you know, but I understand, like, I've been watching it for a long time. At a point, we had Thursday night fights.
Okay. So, I mean, at the end of the day, shout out to my brother HLD, who says PBC had 4 champions at the presser: Fundora, Brandon Figueroa, Ramos. Oh my God. Is it Abel Ramos? What's his name again? Which Ramos is it? I know the one that's the one who has that WBA title, right? Who got that robbery. Salas, Reyes, and Tim Brown. Tom Brown. Tom Brown announced they all had mandatory fights next, all in the zone. No doubt, man. He barely got past Cornflake, no doubt. I'm gonna put the link out there as well. It's about that time, and I am going to go ahead and open up that open up the Discord. The Discord's open. I think Jay Hoshim is already in there. So let me see here. Let's make sure this is what it needs to be. I think it's open here. All right. That is open. So the Discord is open. StreamYard is on there, open as well. Let me see something here. Let me do one more thing here. No, hold on. I think I remember how to do it now. Invite. Hold on a second here. Hold on a second here. That should be to get over here. I think I might have sent people to the boxing voice by accident before. Did I do that by accident? I might have done that. I ain't going to even lie to you. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. All right, we got that together. All right, there's a StreamYard link. But Jermall Charlo talking about the future of the PBC and things of that nature and this network deal, which is very interesting on the back end of what HLD just put inside of the chat here, as far as this multi-fight deal not being a multi-year deal. So the PBC looks like they're pretty much in the same shoes they were in before. Are they shopping? And if they're shopping around, are they looking to go on a different network? Contrary to what Jermall Charlo said, this is not a net. PBC is not a network. They don't have a network, right? It's kind of interesting what the PBC really is at the end of the day, which is a promotional company exclusively, but they're a promotional company different than the other companies, right? Whereas because Matchroom has fighters, there's Golden Boy has fighters, all these people have fighters, but PBC doesn't really have fighters. They kind of provide a platform for TGB to supposedly put their fighters on together. And that's that moving around the Ali Act thing to where the PBC was kind of formed. Al Heyman put himself in a position to where he's kind of like this silent partner with TGB, but not a promotional company. That he presents himself as a platform for these fights to happen at, but he doesn't have a network, right? Very interesting the way that ends up playing, that ends up getting played out with that whole entire PBC situation. Very different from everybody else. J. Hoshem Wagner in the back. If you want, you can tap in, man. You should be in the building. Jehoshem, if you're there.
Yeah, I'm right here, bro.
No doubt. I think we're good to go. Everybody should hear you in the building. How you doing, man? Appreciate you waiting patiently in the back, man.
Oh, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm blessed, brother. Blessed.
How'd I say your name?
It's you said it right the first time, Jehoshem. Jehoshem is fine. Yeah, Jehoshem. Okay. No, Jay. Yeah, Jehoshem is straight. You know what I'm saying?
What's the right way to say it? What's the right way to say it? You said
Jehoshem.
Okay, cool.
Jehoshem.
You kind of said like, I'll take that. You could do better, but I'm like, oh.
At this point, listen, bro. Like I said, man, nobody ever get the name right, so I'm damn near used to it.
No doubt, man. We talked about a lot today on the show day for sure, man. So
I know, man. So I was like, where do I want to start? So I'm gonna start with, of course, with the hottest part, right? Which is Boots, Ennis, and Vergil Ortiz. And me personally, I'm gonna come right out and say, man, I think that fight needs to happen immediately. I don't think they need to do it. Listen, bro, the more waiting you do, the more you increase the chances of your plans getting messed up. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got planned, the longer you wait, you create more variables for things to not go your way. Like, it's no guarantee that Josh Kelly get through this next fight, whatever, and still has the belt for that fight to be made down the line. Right. They're both legacy fights. Josh Kelly, Vergil Ortiz. Even though I think that the Vergil Ortiz fight is bigger for Boots. You know what I'm saying? I think that fight should happen now. And Vergil Ortiz doesn't need a belt. Boots didn't need no belt going into the Xander fight. Right. He didn't. So why does Vergil Ortiz need a belt coming into this fight? I mean, it's the same exact situation. It's a big fight regardless. Right. It's a big fight. It's a big fight regardless. I don't know as far as. But
taking that into consideration, though, Jaron Boots Ennis speaking that he wants to become undisputed, that he wants to chase down these belts. He has the options now as a unified champion. If he has those options on the table, if he has a Josh Kelly, if he has a Sebastian Fundora, then why should he take a Vergil Ortiz fight over those fights when that actually aligns with what he wants?
He shouldn't, if it's what he wants.
So how does Vergil? So that being said, well, go ahead, continue. So I agree with you. So if he wants the belts more than a Vergil Ortiz fight, right? If he wants to become undisputed, then it makes sense for him to go the other route. Then the pressure is on Vergil now, right? To make it make sense for Boots.
Exactly, to make it make sense for Boots. If that's what he wants to do. You know, if that's what he wants to do, I think personally, me looking from the perspective that I'm looking from it as a fan, as the kind of fan I am, I think that Vergil fights is bigger for Boots. He's been attached to Vergil for so many years. He hasn't been attached to Fundora. He hasn't been attached to Kelly, but he's been attached to Vergil for years now. So I think that fight is massive for his legacy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As far as because that's his Huckleberry. You know what I'm saying? It's as much as people wanted to think it was Bud or whatnot, it's not. It's Vergil. Vergil and those guys are his peers. You know what I'm saying? I think that's where his legacy is at for him to stamp that crown as the best of his era with these guys.
Right.
I think Vergil is that fight. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't necessarily recommend me personally putting it off. I think you got to strike by the iron aside. Let's look at the history of Boots' career. I think that in some way it's marred by a lot of questionable decisions as far as the fights that didn't get made or the things that didn't happen. I think it was several times when he was dealing with the Buzz situation where he boxed himself out of situations, not taking the fight when it presented itself. And I don't think that now he goes into the Xander fight. He he's kind of pushed some of that off of him. Now he's the man. But why would you go and start making those same mistakes again?
Right.
You know, because it's a fickle game, and the fans are fickle as well, man. Ain't no guarantee that he gonna be that dude in 3 months, man.
I mean, listen,
I think you got to get it.
It's a gamble either way, but if you really believe in who you are, then it's not as much as a gamble as it is for us as fans, right? From his point of view, it's not a gamble, right? It's like, nah, I'm winning those fights. So, I mean, none of those fights. And I think a lot of his fans probably would agree. They don't feel like, you know, Boots is a gamble for him. If it's a gamble of anything, it's a gamble on Vergil, right? Does Vergil continue winning in his winning ways? Does he continue to bring that interest to the fight? Because if he loses, what does that do for the fight as far as the value of the fight is concerned? But what do you think about the idea of Vergil if it's not going to be Jaron Boots Ennis chasing down this this Sebastian Fundora fight? You know, don't forget Vergil is a interim WBC champion.
I love it. I love Vergil going out there because I also believe that Vergil would beat Fundora. I felt that Vergil would beat Fundora. He's got the style to chop that tree down. You know, it's that pressure. Like just the way Vergil fights, man. You know, Vergil, he gonna get dropped and he's gonna drop some things. That's his style, man. You know what I'm saying? But I think he gonna put that pressure on Fundora and break him down. So I would like to see Vergil go that route and cut him off. You know what I'm saying? If that's what he want to do, if that's what he's about. I don't know what's going on with Oscar and all this. I used to think Oscar was gonna be the savior of boxers, being the boxer that he was. Ray touched on it later, but ever since that Canelo situation, man, he's been kind of, I don't know what's up with that dude, man. I think that Canelo shit broke his heart.
Yeah, and I think it broke his heart in multiple ways. I think whenever I see Oscar De La Hoya, I always remember that he is somebody who's dealt with some addictions, right? that he's dealt with some hard times. Let's not forget we've seen Oscar De La Hoya with women lingerie on and pictures. We've seen him deal with his mental health, and it feels like his new thing is overcompensating with, it's not drugs as much anymore, which he, I don't know if he's still doing that or not, but it seems like it's the lifestyle now, the girlfriend with the fake boobs, the ab work, the surgery to make his ab muscles come out, the clap back Thursdays, right? All these little different things that he's done to pretty much be seen, right? He wants to be seen. He wants to be smiling. He wants everybody to know that he's doing good. But I think in the midst of all that happening, he kind of lost sight of the objective, right? Of the assignment that he was given.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like he lost himself. He lost himself and he lost touch with his identity. You know what I'm saying, of who he was, and I think what he came to. Because I look at Oscar starting off, I was like, for a long time, I was thinking about Bernard Hopkins, what he did with his career, how he helped revive his career. I was thinking about Floyd Mayweather, how he helped boost him up in that second half of his career, of how he had Canelo since he was young, and in a sense he pretty much grew Canelo until Canelo became an entity that can no longer be contained under the Golden Boy umbrella. It had to leave. You know what I'm saying? It had to leave for it to flourish the way that it was going to flourish. And so I was always looking at Oscar as, a champion for the fighter, being a fighter that he was. But it's just not adding up these days.
Yeah, he's gotten in the way of a lot of fights as far as for his biggest fighters. You know what I mean? Even with the Floyd Schofield fight, he wasn't very much a big supporter of Floyd Schofield fighting Shakur Stevenson, right? He was against Ryan Garcia fighting against Gervonta Tank Davis. And then obviously we saw what he did with Vergil Ortiz. And then as far as Ryan Garcia just making big fights in general, even with the Devin Haney fight, I remember the interview with I want to say Dan Canobio, is that his name? I don't know, the guy with Inside the Boxing. But when he said that Devin Haney fight wouldn't happen, it would happen not on his watch. He was like, not on my watch, that fight's not going to happen. It was just like, why are you taking this stance on the biggest fights that can be made with your fighters? Why are you continuing with this campaign? Even getting in front of Vergil and Terrence Crawford at one point when Turkey Al-Sheikh was trying to put that fight together, he got in front of that fight happening. So it's been an uphill battle if you're an Oscar De La Hoya fan, and if you've been wanting to see his fighters being the biggest fights, it's been a struggle to get him to do it now. But that being said, now that the DAZN has gotten involved in the conversation, it does seem like the DAZN has kind of like put this ultimatum on the table for all the promoters, not just Oscar, but specifically about Oscar, because we're talking about him right now. Seems like those fights have to happen now, right? That he doesn't get to get in front of that anymore.
Yeah, I think the DAZN is doing what they absolutely need to do, because if we seen anything using history as an outlier, these promoters gonna screw you sideways if you let them. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put it on the table right now. Look, I got the bread for you, I got the platform for you, but this is the situation. We're not playing none of your funk games. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna make these fights. We're gonna get this money back. We're gonna recoup this money, and you're gonna put them champions in front of these eyes.
Period.
And them high price fighters. And I respect it, bro, because look at what we've been dealing with all of these years, bro. As much as I'm unsure of the future of boxing and what's coming from this whole entire shakeup, a lot of this is the shit cake that the promoters baked, and they're eating it now. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta deal with it, bro. They placed themselves in this position for the most part. They damn near single-handedly gave it over to DAZN. If you think about it, the games they've been playing. So I'm okay with it. Yeah. I'm okay with it being happening, because boxing is about the fights taking place. We want to see the best fight the best. We want to see champs get up there, man. What we paying money for, bro? We I ain't finna go to work to keep paying for a bunch of dudes I don't know about. I need to see some champs fighting, bro.
100%, bro. 100%. 1 second. Let me just holler at Leonard Sterling. Appreciate you, Leonard Sterling, with the £2. Says PBC has non-pay-per-view cards on the DAZN September 19th and October 17th. Yeah, I mean, somebody also put, I appreciate you, Leonard Sterling. Thank you. Somebody also put in the super chat a little bit earlier, I think it was HLD, who was saying that basically the PBC was coming up on the DAZN, right? Screwing them over, or, tricking them or whatever have you. But I think at this point in the game, you're not tricking anybody but yourself at this point. If you're going to continue to burn bridges with these networks and give them nothing, I mean, your reputation is going to start leading the way, right? Before you even to talk to somebody, they're gonna be like, we already know who you are at this point. I don't know about none of this. You know what I mean? Like, how's that? At this point, it's not a joke on the DAZN, especially if the DAZN was smart enough to make it a multi-fight deal, right? They didn't give them a multi-year deal. So they pretty much got them on the Amazon leash as well, right? Like, you're going to show, improve fight by fight by fight. And we're going to decide based on the track record you build with us, how we're going to move forward with you business-wise, right?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, so let's look at it in the simplest way you can put it. Like you said, PBC, burning bridges and certain things. If you keep burning bridges, only thing that you're going to leave yourself with it is no way back. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to leave yourself with no way back.
100%.
So these, like I said, I think these things gotta take place. What was the other topics though in the situations though?
Speaking a little bit on the Gervonta Tank Davis not being part of this DAZN deal, right? So he's not part of the PBC DAZN deal, which obviously is about fights. I mean, I would say why, your opinion. I think it's about money. But if that being said, where does Tank land then? How does Tank not put? Tank used to be exclusively a PBC fighter. Is he not that anymore? And if he isn't, what does that mean for Tank? And what are you expecting from Tank now?
Well, let me ask you this question. What is Tank right now?
Nothing. I mean, he's inactive. He's G Money.
There you go. Right.
That's what he's doing full time now. It seems like he's G Money as his second job or his first job, whatever.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't gamble on Tank. You can't place your eggs in that basket on Tank because Tank is shown to be unreliable in these things. You know what I'm saying? Tank's biggest enemy is Tank. So you can't gamble on that. So if you got to go forward without Tank, that's a calculated move. It's a smart move. It's a smart move. That's smart money because it's more for sure. You know what I'm saying? You can get so much from Tank, but it's no guarantee that you're gonna get it. It's a gamble, right? Everything's a gamble, but I think it's more of a gambling on Tank at this point in time from what he showed us. Listen, the other day, man, I damn near called in, man, because I never myself really been a defender of Tank. I don't really like how he moves. None of that stuff. But I was like, he that dude though. But I'm saying he got skills, he got talent. We just want to see him in these fights. But at this point, Tank most likely not gonna be in the ring until March, April next year.
So like end of first quarter, beginning of second quarter type energy.
Exactly. That's what that WBA champion recess is about. Because what the WBA gonna do? They're gonna take that one belt and turn it into 3 belts. And that's enough time to buy Tank 12, 14 months.
Right. I
mean, WBA gonna gamble because they need their fees. Tank she's still a money guy. They need their money. So they're gonna take that belt, turn it into more belts, and buy Tank the time that he needs. But PBC can't wait on him.
No.
The WBA can.
But I mean, even the WBA put him in recess. But that being said, on the back end of that announcement being made, Floyd Schofield Jr. and Lucas Body, right? It seems like that fight is going to be for that vacant WBA title, which I think is an important needle mover in the lightweight division, especially on the back end of just watching what Abdullah did, right? With what Abdullah Mason just did with Albert Bell. We know that Lamont Roach and William Zepeda are going to be figuring out August 1st for that WBC title. It just seems like Tank's position holds the lightweight division up in multiple ways. So they had to kind of do something, right? What do you think?
You got to have some kind of movement, because if not, it's just stagnation, and that's where the disease and the sickness come from. The water it's a danger if it don't. So they got to keep things pushing. You know what I'm saying? They got to keep things pushing. I do want to see I want to see the best for Tank though, man. As much as I said I really dislike that guy, I don't wish him no, and I want to see my brother do well. You know what I'm saying?
And I 100% agree with you. They were destroying him the other day though, right? They were giving him no chance, and you know what I mean? What has he been doing? And I'm like, hold up, Tank is still Tank, man. Like, I'm not the big Tank defender, but Jesus, we can't do this.
That's what I was at with. I dare to call, and I was like, bro, I never thought I would call in to defend Tank.
Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. I was sitting here like, I can't believe I got to do this, but what are you talking about? This dude is one of the baddest guys on the planet, bro. I favor him to 8 out of 10 people he gets in the ring with, maybe even 9 out of 10. I favor him to win, right? Still, I don't care how inactive he's been. Am I crazy?
Yeah, he's got to be the favorite. Yeah. He's got to be the. Well, what else we got? What else we got, Clay? Because I got some food.
No doubt. And let me see here. We talked about Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn. So we saw Mike Coppinger come out and speak on the position of Oscar De La Hoya, right? As I could play it again, but basically saying that Sella has a deal with Ryan Garcia, and that Oscar really has no say in it. And Mike Coppinger, kind of jokingly but not jokingly said, I don't know what those clapback Thursdays and all that shit he's talking about is, but I'm pretty sure he knows this as well. What do you think about that position?
About Ryan, Oscar having no say so. What Ryan going forward? You said
right.
Probably, man.
It is what it is, right?
Probably, bro. Oscar, he might have low-key sold the rights to Ryan.
That's exactly what Mike Coppinger said. He's like, he sold those rights to Sella. So I don't know why he's acting brand new. That's his whole angle. Like, he knows what he did. So why is he sitting here saying he's sending cease and desist letters and all that for what, bro?
He's operating like a promoter scorned.
You
know, so I don't know. I want to see the Ryan Conor fight though. That's an exciting fight, man. As far as the way you look at it on, I would love to see that fight.
Right.
I feel like somebody going to sleep.
Facts. I mean, what do you think the chances of Conor Benn winning that fight? Low-key, it feels like people aren't giving him a chance. What do you think?
I think that Conor. I think it's probably like, let's say 2/3 to 1/3, say 66 to 33%. As far as Ryan Garcia, I think Ryan Garcia is a better boxer than he. He has his issues and everything, but Ryan Garcia know how to get down. He's been doing this for a long time. You know what I'm saying? But he's also susceptible to getting caught. You know what I mean? And being able to be game plan to certain things. Tank did it. You know what I'm saying? He dropped Devin a gang. He still got outboxed in the fight. So I think Conor Benn has the chance to catch something with Ryan clean, put him to sleep.
No doubt.
But for the most part, though, I favor Ryan. I'm just gonna keep it real, man. I favor Ryan.
No doubt.
I would love to see Conor knock him out. I'm gonna be real with you. I would love to see, but I favor Ryan. That's my thinking brain.
Yeah, no, we got it. I think it's only fair. I think you got to favor Ryan, but I think Conor is a way more game opponent than people give him credit for. I think he's a game opponent, and game opponents, you never know.
He know how to punch. He know how to put something to sleep. You know what I'm saying? He done did it before.
And he got some athleticism too. He has athleticism about him. He's explosive. He's becoming a better boxer. I think those 24 rounds he did with Chris Eubank are going to pay out big. I think he elevated. I think he had to learn how to do a lot of boxing to compete with Chris Eubank. Even though Chris Eubank, people can say he was depleted and he wasn't in his strongest form, but still a high level boxer, the highest level boxer he's ever been in the ring with, and he showed massive leaps and bounds and improvements on the second fight. And even with the Regis Prograis fight, you've seen him boxing better. So he's getting better, right?
Yeah, he did. I think he did well in the Regis Prograis fight. I feel like he should have been able to do a little better, considering the fact that Regis is half dead. But Regis is still he got his tricks, man. You know what I mean? He's a wily veteran, bro. And once he figured out that he was able to take that power from Conor, when somebody knows they can take your power, it changes the fight.
100%. You know? Ask Xander.
Changes the fight, bro. It changes the fight. When they know they can take your power, it's a different approach. They're gonna come with different angles. They're gonna come with a different kind of boldness, and that mind gonna start clicking. Like, okay, I can take this hit. I can take this hit to get this hit off. If you know that you can't take that hit to get that hit off, you're gonna fight a different way. You're gonna be wary. But when you know that you can come in here and it's like, okay, I can handle that fire. I can walk into these flames.
Right.
You're gonna come with a whole new type of boldness.
I agree, man. Listen, man, I know you got to get to some cooking. I know you got some things to do, man. I appreciate you, Mike, coming up here, man. The build is always great, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you, brother. Y'all have a good day.
You too, family. Peace.
All right, man.
Yeah, guys, HLD, what's up? Salute to my guy, Radio Boxing 01 in the building. Come up to build with your boy, man. Shout out to you guys. Hold on one second. Leonard Sterling with the £2 says TNT Sports posted the fight numbers peaked 820,000 views. And I'm assuming that's the Abdullah Mason and Albert Bell card, which is decent, right? But I mean, it is TNT's free television. It's not like it was pay-per-view. But still a lot of eyes on it, a lot more eyes than they would have gotten behind that pay-per-view fight, that firewall, right? That basically got in the way of these young fighters like Abdullah Mason. That would have been a shame to see Abdullah Mason be in a fight like he was in with Albert Bell and only be in front of 100,000, 150,000 people. You know what I'm saying? That'd have been such a waste of Abdullah Mason's blood and sweat. You know what I'm saying?
Those are good numbers.
To not get those guys, to not get the eyes on him, right? It is what it is. And then shout out to Leonard Sterling with the $2 again, says, why do you think September 12th fight not announced yet? I think that the announcement, you got to understand who you're dealing with when you're dealing with Conor Benn, when you're dealing with Ryan Garcia, and you're dealing with Dana White. Dana White announces things in a certain way. He wants to roll it out in a certain way. And I think Oscar De La Hoya having that little video saying that he got some call or something like that, I think what that said to me was Oscar heard the fight's about to be announced, right? And he jumped in front of the fight being announced with him saying it wasn't going to be announced. and put his 2 cents in it and paint the picture like, yeah, man, I'm involved in this
conversation. Saving face.
Right, because it happened. It was like, yeah, Oscar, I just want to let you know the announcement's coming in like the next 7 to 10 days, so I'd advise you to clean that shit up you was talking about for the past month and a half, because here it comes. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, fuck, okay, man. Let me put the wig on and make everybody laugh. Nah, we already laughing at you, bro. We you know what I mean?
Laughing at you, nigga.
Yo, 820. Those are great numbers. I'm gonna tell you, those are great numbers. If you go look at ESPN numbers of some of the good fights, they are around that area right there between the 800 and 1.1 or somewhere around there. You know, so that's a great number for a debut. For a young kid like Mason, really nobody knows. Great numbers. That's good for us. That's good for the sport.
Yeah, you got to think the traditional boxing space gets the right eyes on it, and obviously, you know, a future star in the making with Abdullah Mason. I think it's legitimate now to say this kid is a future star, right? He's had the eyes. This is the first event on TNT. This is what the fans, the casual fans who saw that event, are seeing now as boxing, right? They're seeing that fight as a great fight in boxing. He set the standard and probably garnered the heart of a lot of fans to be on the Abdullah Mason train.
Absolutely, yeah. And shout outs to Cleveland. You know, he's like one of the first world champions coming out of Cleveland, I think, in over a decade, I think. Salute to Abdullah Mason. I think he's super popular.
Yeah, great fight for him, man. That was a great movement. So, guys, man, what do you think about this? Let's talk right to the elephant in the room, man. Ennis versus Ortiz Jr. Oscar De La Hoya puts that out there and says that, you know, he's going to work on that. But, you know, me personally, I'm kind of like in the air with it, where I feel like I don't see why Jaron Ennis would fight Vergil Ortiz next right now when he has Josh Kelly right there in the same stable as him holding one of those belts.
He wants him. He wants him next.
Me too. Yeah, definitely. So you think that's the fight that's made
he
next?
Wants him next. He wants him next. You know, but I'm not gonna believe anything until until it's signed and sealed and delivered. I got Rick Majorian, the clown over here, saying all these other. I mean, he's saying all that. All right, now all they're waiting for is boots. Yes, I don't believe any of them. Any of them. For all I know, they made up this entire lawsuit and they avoided boots to begin with. And now conveniently, the week that Boots and Xander is fighting, we're kissing and making up. Like, really?
All of a sudden that third round happened, right? That third round happened. All of a sudden,
man. No, the week out, like really? Now you guys are kissing and making up? Okay. You know, it looks like the normal clout chasing thing that they do, kind of like the Bill Haney type of strategy. I like that's a Bill Haney strategy. You know, right. But I you know, until I see it signed, sealed, and delivered, I don't believe it at all until then, you know, until further notice.
Yeah. So I'm kind of with HLD on that. Like, until it's signed and delivered, you know, I'm not believing a lot of this, you know, WWE type stuff. Like, it's just a lot of announcements and stuff. Like, you know, I need to see something tangible. So I'm not really believing it till I see, you know, the contract and people face off.
Well, look, right? I mean, believing the fight is happening is one thing, but, you know, what I challenge, you know, you guys and everybody in the community to do is figure out, does that make sense for Boots right now based on the position that he's in right now, right? Just to say that for the first time in a long time, Boots is not only the A side, he had a fight of the year against Xander Zayas. Vergil Ortiz and Oscar De La Hoya have been a roller coaster ride, to say the least, for Eddie Hearn, as well as Boots Ennis to kind of negotiate with. And keep in mind, we haven't even talked about Eddie Hearn and his position, right? To say that Eddie Hearn is also the person who Boots is listening to as an advisor. And you got to think Eddie is, you know, salivating right now. Like, oh, really? You guys want my fighter, the best 154-pounder in the world right now, #1 unified champion of the world right now, and all of a sudden we need to come fight you. Now it's time to fight us? How does Eddie Hearn feel about that? Knowing he also has Josh Kelly sitting there. Me and Ray Davis were talking about it early. Do you let Josh Kelly continue to float around out there with this IBF title? Because let's be real, Josh Kelly's a talented fighter, but he's not promised tomorrow. In other words, he can lose any given Sunday, bro. And right now, Eddie Hearn has that IBF belt over there in that stable. Does he capitalize on it and say, Boots, we can fight Vergil anytime? Matter of fact, send Vergil with that interim title towards Sebastian Fundora. Let's see if he can do something over there, make a big fight happen, pick up this belt off Josh Kelly so you could be a 3-belt unified champion. And now I'm in control of the 154 division in a huge way, and not Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? All roads lead to Matchroom.
You're thinking on like what's like a manager, like what's best for Boots.
Yeah, I'm entertaining.
Right, and that's it. But unfortunately, the way I see things right now, it's what the zone wants. And the zone wants Boots and Ortiz.
Facts.
That's the fight that they want, and so that's what they're gonna end up making happen if they can make it happen. And Kerry over there, yeah, they could get him later. He's already part of what we are. So just get him a little fish so he could play with for a little while we take care of business with Vergil Ortiz. So I think that's what's going to happen. As far as Fundora goes, look, what I saw today on the press conference, PBC had 4 champions at the presser, and our 4 of them have mandatories next. That's what they sold to the zone. So they're not there. There's no Vergil Ortiz versus Fundora or anything like that. That's just that's farther down the line, and we come talking about that Tank Davis thing. Well, yeah, this is a multi-fight deal, and he's not part of this TNT thing that we're doing right now, right? You see the TNT. He's not part of this with the zone and PVC. So right now, I do see that we'll if it's up to the zone, we're gonna end up seeing Vergil Ortiz and Boots. Because the zone wants it. They're the ones who providing the dates. Oscar don't really have much of a choice. Boots don't have much of a choice. It's what the zone says is going to happen next, and I think that's where we're at. They're trying to drown out Zuffa. You got to remember, they really are going to try to drown out Zuffa, and the TNT is part of it. And if they make the big fights over here, now they got PBC. Yeah, it's for a few mandatory fights. But if they can then look, man, it's good over here. Then they can sign them for a multi-year deal. The zone may have a chance at surviving this whole Zuffa thing, but I think they're trying to make the big fights.
I'm gonna agree with both of y'all, really, because I mean, keyword what you said, HLD. If the zone can get that fight, that is the fight that they want. But if that's the fight they can, I noticed you said if, so I wanted to put emphasis on that because I agree with Clay too. For the first time, Boots is in the driver's seat right now, and he got the option to go the Josh Kelly route. Snatch that belt up because you're right. Josh Kelly could lose that belt to somebody else. Now they don't got control of that belt. So I think that is a good route to go to Josh Kelly route. And then you have Vergil. I mean, it's only been about 8 months, right?
8, 9 months, yeah.
That's how he fought. So I mean, realistically, it ain't been too long. So it just depends on if he been chilling and eating Cheetos on the couch and stuff like that instead of training.
He likes to play video games, man. Vergil out here blows up in between fights, man. So I don't know. Listen, bro, I don't know about that's the one thing I'm gonna be real with you guys, man. I don't know when it comes to Vergil how disciplined he is outside of having fights lined up. So that's gonna.
How long does he have at 154? I don't think much.
Well, people already.
That's why I'm like, all right,
let him. If he let buttermilk pancakes in the morning, and sausage and bacon, and sitting down playing Call of Duty and do all that kick in, and all of a sudden that way he's had problems at 147. The man's life was on the line. Know what I'm saying? He almost didn't come back to the sport. So we gotta assume and hope that he's been being disciplined and getting ready for a fight as this whole entire litigation thing is working out.
Yeah, but when it comes to Kelly, I'm not afraid of him losing because they're gonna put him with another matchroom fighter. They're gonna put him with they're not dumb. They're like, okay, man,
lose, bro. He can.
Yeah, let him lose. Let him lose to another matchroom fighter. It's still their belt. They own it. They own the belt. That's the top rank move, right? Or being smart. Hey, we're gonna, you know what I mean. So if they do it, I don't think Eddie, bro. Eddie, you saw the Godfather give the blessings over to Eddie. We saw that. You saw that interview with Bob Arum and Eddie Hearn.
No.
They had a little powwow, a nice little a 12-minute interview on the zone.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so the Godfather.
Eddie is my favorite boxing promoter in the game right now. And I'm saying 100%. I know people. I've been saying that forever though. When people used to kill me like, oh, the UK guy, I'm like, I don't care, bro. I don't see nobody more passionate than him. I've seen Eddie cry. I've seen Eddie jump higher than every fan. I've seen him get out the seat. I've seen him jump into the ring and celebrate with a fighter.
He be lit at the fight.
Bro.
He'll talk shit. He'll talk shit back to you. Trust me. He talks shit back to me. When I was over there with Xander, bro. But he is great for the sport. I think I agree with you with he's absolutely, and the Godfather was telling him, bro, man, you trying to leave, I need you to stay. He was telling him, you're a great promoter. But I'm not worried about the belt getting lost. I think they know how to play chess. This is a game of chess.
So you're all for on you saying it makes sense, because I know people in the chat don't understand, right, what I'm doing when I present the manager's point of view, the fighter's point of view, the fans' point of view. It's about all these different moving variables, right? All these intangibles involved in this conversation that culminate to whether or not we see a fight or we don't see a fight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm presenting all of these different angles and saying that, okay, while we're entertaining everything, HLD, you've heard my whole spiel on the management. You heard you came in with the fighter point of view that Boots wants this fight. That makes sense. I spoke to you about the belts staying with Matchroom. You had an answer for that. So as far as you're concerned, what makes sense right now, and including the zone, which I love that angle that you hit on, because the zone is a major part of this conversation. They're a major part of any fight happening on their network now. They're hands-on now, very different than how they carried it before. They weren't like that before. They allowed, these promoters to just play around with us and give us fights we're not asking for. They're hands-on now. They're like, no, they're literally like, we're not paying for that. Try again. Call me with the next fight you have for that guy. We're not interested in that.
There's still another angle.
What's the other one?
The other angle is Boots can't do nothing until Xander Zayas declines the rematch clause.
Ooh, that's right. There's a rematch clause there.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, Xander already said he was gonna move up, though.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't.
He said he could be back at 154. He said he wasn't gonna make a decision in the ring. His people have been talking about it for weeks, building up to the fight. We've heard it. There's been rumors, but Xander has never officially been like, "I'm out of here," and I'm going.
They're contemplating the weight cut. And can they change it? And can they change the game plan that they did?
If they want to get it again, that'll be a big fight. I mean, the first one, especially toward the last couple of, the end of the weeks, it start building up crazy. People wasn't really talking about it at first, but toward the fight day, it start building up. I think the second one will be pretty major. And it'll be good for boxing if they do it again.
I'm just saying we got to wait what the young man is.
And without a doubt, Xander did not. Shout out to Boots. Shout out to Xander. Xander didn't fight the fight the way he could have fought.
That's what I'm saying. Like he could fight a different fight on that rematch, and so could Boots.
I could accept the loss. If I could accept the loss a lot more had we seen Xander Zayas boxing, but I didn't see Xander Zayas boxing, and so that is like, damn. I mean, I'm telling you right off the cuff. Everybody in that building were like, "What the hell are you doing?" But can he make the weight cut again easily? And can they really change the game plan without getting caught up in the firefight? I think that the bravado of that stadium. I'm sorry, neither one of those two fighters have ever been in a building with that type of energy that was in that building. That energy was crazy.
And that's got to attract the zone too. The zone's got to want to be willing to duplicate that, right? Damn, that thing hit. Let's do it again. Let's do a sequel to that. I think that fight was supposed to look more like what we saw happen between Albert Bell and right, with Albert Bell and Abdullah Mason. Not to say that that's how it would look, because I think obviously Jaron Boots is better than Abdullah Mason, but I think we were expecting more of that Albert Bell approach, right? Box, control, move. You know what I mean? Counter punch, you know what I'm saying? Combination punching, get off the line. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I thought he was going to do too. I did not expect him to just kind of step to him like that.
Man, he let his Boricua nuts hang on that night, bro. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, maybe in the back of his mind, especially if this rematch gets announced, right? Maybe in the back of Xander's mind, he's like, worst case scenario, the rematch is going to be crazy. You know what I mean? Maybe he already knew in his mind, like, I'm gonna try this way right now and see how far I can go with it. But really be processing data to saying in the next fight, I'm going to come at it a whole different way. And maybe even the mind game has been kind of put in Boots' head a little bit. Maybe Boots is getting the wrong. Maybe we're all just reading this the wrong way. Right? That Xander's playing chess, long form.
The pillow fisted fighter, the 23-year-old pillow fisted fighter, almost had you out over there on Atlantic Avenue over there in Barclays Center walking, bro. He almost had you. So I mean, who knows? We'll see. But I'm saying that's another angle. We don't know yet And
I love that angle. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't even think about that angle. That is a great angle for Jaron Boots Ennis right now, because if Xander activates that rematch clause, man, it's a big fight. He has no choice anyway. But I think even if he had a choice, Boots would do it again, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Even if it wasn't a rematch clause and Xander just said, I want a rematch, I could see Boots being like, that's what's up. Let's get it. Because Boots also caught a little flack for that third round. He might want to just kind of dead that in a real way. Like, you know what I'm saying? You bring that Xander to this fight. Don't bring that other dude. You bring Xander to this fight because I'm going to debunk it.
Xander, you got any excuses? Xander, any excuses? Yeah. I'm okay with that. You know, but I think it's a big fight. And if they don't, like I said, if they don't end up doing, I really believe that we'll have a big rematch in about 2 years at 160.
160.
But you know, it's that weight cut, and can they change the game plan that what they did? And if they are comfortable with it, I think they'll be making more money in a rematch because. I mean, it's gonna make more money than Josh Kelly, I think, wouldn't it? I mean, this rematch. I mean, it got a lot of buzz after the fight. I do know that,
bro. It was so many people that said that fight gave them Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia vibes, like that were in the stadium. People were saying it was that electrifying.
Bro,
like,
I left and both Xander Zayas fans like myself and Boots fans from Philly, bro. We were all high-fiving, fist pumping. We were grateful for the event that we just watched.
Yeah. That's what boxing is about, bringing people together, bro. That's what this shit's about.
No, that fight brought it back, man. That fight brought it back. It was, and you know, and people don't like that we celebrate Xander in any kind of way for this fight. They just don't understand. I mean, they understand. They just don't care for us to keep it real and say that fight doesn't happen unless Xander makes that fight happen, because he did not have to put he had 2 belts. He could have went to the UK, fought Josh Kelly, because he talked about it. He said, we didn't want to go to the UK. You know what I'm saying? So they wanted Josh Kelly to come over to Puerto Rico. Josh was like, nah, bro, come over here. We got the 60,000 people in the stadium. You ain't got that over there in Puerto Rico, respectfully. Like, you're doing your thing over there, but you ain't packing 60,000 people in the stadium. Let's make this fight big. And Xander was like, you know what? I'm going to do it in New York against Boots. And not only did he make the fight happen, but he gave a fight that I know these fans weren't expecting. You know what I'm saying? The fight he gave was almost like a gift to boxing, right? Like, I'm not supposed to be fighting this dude like this. I'm not even supposed to low-key be fighting this dude, period. Right?
Good point.
But definitely not supposed to be fighting this guy like this. So there's a gift in there, right? For a boxing fan who can be honest and accept and be like, thank you, Xander. You know what I'm saying?
Well Clay, you mentioned something. That nobody likes to give the credit. Look, man, you got to listen to how Boots speaks and these post interviews now after the fight. Both guys have been gracious, keeping it a buck and gracious with respect amongst each other about it. Like, I don't understand why the fans are tripping about anything when the fighters themselves are giving each other the massive props. Like, full props, no excuses, no nothing. It is what it is.
I feel like the more we give Xander props, the more they feel like the belts are gonna get taken back. Like,
no, man. He got to do that. He got to take him off that dude.
Bro, there's nothing that's gonna change the fact that this man is the unified champion of the world, bro. No amount of celebrating changes that, right? But there's absolutely nothing wrong with giving this man his flowers, bro. And obviously, Boots also showed improved multiple things as well. I'll tell you right now, however anybody wants to speak on it, Boots is the baddest motherfucker at 154, and probably, as far as boxing is concerned, one of the most dangerous, if not the dangerous guy to be in the ring with. That's what he showed me. Outside of maybe a David Benavidez, who's more and Moses Atama, maybe who's more dangerous to be in the ring with than Boots?
I agree.
Like Bam, maybe Bam at the lower.
Nah, you don't go in the ring. It's like scared of Bam or that fear of like, no, you're not doing the Benavidez walk. You're not doing. No, it's not like that. It's not like that.
Yo, shout out to Leonard Sterling asking a question here. Says, could Garcia versus Ben be on DAZN Paramount? So basically streaming on DAZN and on Paramount?
No, that's gonna be a strict.
No, that's a ring card.
That's pay-per-view.
But you know what's interesting about what he's saying right here is that, you know, the Paramount doesn't do the pay-per-view thing. You know what I'm saying? They don't do the pay-per-view thing. So, and DAZN doesn't do, they doing the pay. They wouldn't work out. They wouldn't do it.
It's DAZN and TNT.
Right.
It ain't DAZN and
well,
Paramount.
the only reason it depends on, that Paramount's about to pick up TNT, right? It's happening, like pretty much damn near. It's like it's gonna happen. Like they're picking him up. Does it happen by September? Probably not. But yeah, I'm going with you guys, Leonard. I don't see that happening. I don't see them doing that right now. But I do tell you this: when that deal does go through, we will be having a great show, because it's going to be very interesting, because that's going to change a lot of conversations up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things are going to change on the back end of Paramount buying Warner Brothers, which own TNT. I'm telling you right now, there's going to be some very interesting conversations that happen on the back end of that. And shout out to Leonard Serlin says, I'm sure Peter Khan, Zayas manager, said no rematch. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I see Xander jumping off cliffs into the water like nothing happened. That's what I'm seeing.
I think the important thing is to know that Xander did not show up in Xander form, bro. He doesn't know that his style and his approach to boxing doesn't beat Boots. He might know it. Maybe he knows. Maybe he felt everything he needed to feel inside of that fight to know that he won another 3 to 4 fights before he fights Boots again, which I wouldn't knock him for. But outside of that, he got beat up not being himself, right? It is what it is. Let me bring in a couple new people in the building here. We got Dr. Eugene Edwards in the building, right?
Edward, no S.
Because I was calling you Edwin for a minute. Is it Edwin or Edwards?
Edward, no S.
Oh, Edward, for sure. Salute to you, family. And Akeem Blake in the building. Akeem, what's good with you, fam?
What's going on with you, brothers?
No doubt. We having some interesting conversations today on the back end of Oscar De La Hoya making his clapback Thursday with his wig. By the way, once again, shout out to Oscar De La Hoya and the wig. We love the wig. I want to see Oscar De La Hoya in the wig every time now.
I don't know about that. Yo.
Yes, let's have it, man.
You said you want him in the wig?
I want him in that wig every time, because this is the first time I've ever seen him do a clapback Thursday.
Do you really want the wig again?
Hey, bro, if that's what it takes. Listen, Dr. Eugene. Yeah, sometimes, we got a saying. I'm Haitian, right? And there's a saying. I'm not going to say it in Creole, but in English it means sometimes you got to close your nose and drink the stinky water. You know what I'm saying? And if the wig is the stinky water, so be it, bro. So be it. If you're going to make announcements like this, if Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia are going to be announced, if Ennis and Ortiz Jr. is what you're working on, if Floyd Schofield's getting a fight for a vacant title finally, and we're going to see the lightweight division moving forward, if you're going to come out with news like that, Oscar Collazo going up 2 weight classes, bro, don't you never forget that wig before you hit us with another. You heard?
But he the Ryan thing, he was just using that for clout, because Ryan is still signed to Turkey, so he really don't have a say in that. He just wanted to say something just to tie his name to the fame.
Big facts. I agree with you. I mean, I think Oscar's been on a very interesting
Stop the cap
campaign, right? You know what I'm saying? He's been on a very interesting campaign for the past year, ever since that Vergil situation. So I'm definitely being very sarcastic and very cynical when I'm saying keep the wig and all that. I'm just basically saying, do that. Don't get in front of big fights, right? That's my main thing, right? Do the wig, do the clapback Thursdays. Don't get in front of big fights no more. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I appreciate that. You know what I mean? And shout out to Sella for being smart enough to get those rights. He signed over Ring Magazine and he signed over Ryan Garcia. And DAZN sitting there like, what in the fuck? But it's all good, bro. We got you. We're going to get you together, man. You just keep that wig on and stay entertaining, bro.
Because that's 2 big fights. That one and then a Vergil fight. So it's like, yo, come on, yo. Why did we re-sign you, yo? For you to do this back to back. Like, what the hell? It's been 6 months. It ain't even been a whole year yet. What are you doing?
9 months. Yeah. But for Vergil, 9 months for Vergil, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is with him. How do you guys feel about Akeem? Also, I don't know if you want to tap into Oscar, but I'm going to ask you guys together just how do you feel about the Gervonta Tank Davis conversation as far as him not being part of this? And let's not even go that far into it. How do you feel about the PBC getting a multiple fight deal with DAZN and not a multi-year deal with DAZN?
I knew it. And the reality is when Golden Boy was about to resign, Boots and Ortiz was on the table. That fell apart, but they still re-signed the deal. And then right next, you had Xander Zayas and Top Rank. Top Rank signed with DAZN, and then they fought. Now you got PBC. Now it's looking like it. Well, I ain't gonna say it looking like, but hopefully you got PBC with DAZN. You got Boots with Fundora. Like he actually is the link between a lot of these big platforms coming together, or possibly could be. Well, hey, look, if we throw this fight together, look at the money we could generate, and then they forecast how much they could generate, and they might say, you know what, let's go ahead and do that, because that'll be the cherry on top to our partnership. So that's how I'm looking at it. Hopefully, it ain't guaranteed, but hopefully that's the route they're going, and that's the mindset they're going with. And if they can make that happen, then cool. That's why they haven't Tank on the DAZN commercials, so they can say.
I noticed that as well. I definitely noticed that as well. So just to be clear, you're feeling like they're building up, like this is what it could be. Like, they're still working on the multi-year deals. What you're saying, they're still working on that, and so this is just kind of like a prequel. Like, yo, we just gonna give y'all something, just to kind of like see what we could do, and then we're gonna talk about what we need, because they need money to put their fights together. To put with the fighters they have, with the Errol Spences, with the Jermall Charlos, with the Tank Davises, David Benavidez, and whatever other fighters we could think of on the top of your head with the PBC. Those guys all require pretty big paydays, and I don't think that DAZN is giving out that type of money yet, right, to any of these promoters.
Money, and they need a platform. And
right.
PBC,
well, let's not forget that the Spence fight is on DAZN.
That's what I'm saying. PBC needs the platform and need the money. DAZN has the money and the platform. Perfect. Let's link up and make it happen.
Especially with TNT now. And by the way, just to add, and I'll pass it right over to you, Radio, I believe this is all about TNT. I think DAZN has done everything they can do to a certain degree, and I think this is about TNT shooting them a distribution deal like back in the day. TNT investing into boxing with DAZN, giving them a budget to put together the biggest fights possible. Go ahead, Radio.
Oh yeah, nah. Just real quick, I was piggybacking off what y'all said. I was talking to one of my bros yesterday about this. I think, and I would have to agree with the brother that just spoke. I think it's like kind of like a test run type of thing instead of doing the multi-year deal. First off, the multi-fight deal to see how everything goes and work out the bells and whistles. But I was thinking, because PBC has that eat what you kill model, as far as when it comes to the deals and no guarantees and things like that. And I was thinking that maybe this might be something to where the PBC might be moving toward a different business model when it comes to sending out offers and things like that. Like maybe now they might be able to put a little guarantee with certain offers and kind of be able to have more of a back end to put on these events. That's kind of what I was thinking about it. The whole partnership thing. I feel like this is just like, let's see how we rock with these first couple fights. And then, all right, like if it's good, we can, kind of like what y'all saying, we can do the multi-year deal, stretch it out, and then now we got somebody really backing us, and we can possibly put more fights on, and like I think you said something earlier in the show, Clay, about the reputation of PBC and burning bridges. You said you spoke on it, and I think the reputation with PBC is like the eat what you kill method. They ain't giving no guarantees, they ain't got no money. People online is slandering the PBC, they broke and this and that. So I think it's kind of like what you spoke on earlier in the show. This is, you can't burn bridges, and all the people that spoke bad on them, they might be trying to make that loop now, because now the PBC, they got backing now, it seemed like. So it's kind of like how I see it,
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is a big deal for I think the PBC, the rest of 2026 is very important to the rest of their journey in boxing, right? Amazon definitely didn't drink the Kool-Aid. They definitely didn't get down with them the way they thought they were going to. And now it's on, it seems like the PBC gets an olive branch and almost like a last swing, right? At base right now to get back on base and bring this full circle and bring it home. And it's going to be based on these fights, especially right now in this environment right now. The environment is hostile. It's super competitive. It's great for us as boxing fans, because I love to see them fight over us, because that's what they're fighting over, is our attention. They want us to watch them. They want us to make them right? So it's great to be us, but at the same time, it's a competitive space, and the PBC needs to jump into this DAZN situation with a competitive mentality, with not only the fights they're going to put on as far as these mandatories, but also on these undercards. You got to deliver it. It's a competitive space, man. You got to deliver right now. Shout out to King, bro. I know you was going to tap in. What's good, King?
My bag. I was here driving. I just wanted to say for the Xander Boots thing. Remember when after the fight, you know, Xander not no more so singing his praises, but saying like, nah, he's definitely a good fighter. And then when they was passing the mic off, they asked Boots about Xander moving up to 160, and he's like, he gonna take care of that division. So I know they had they got the rematch clause in place, but from the way that they were speaking, and then I couple that with how Xander lost, like as far as what his corner was thinking about the fight. I don't think they want to take that fight over, bro. He said Boots is everything. He said Boots is everything he is. I was just promo. Right. I was on my promo run. And then Boots is over there talking about, yeah, when he move up to 160, you know, they're going to have a problem with him up there. So I know that they have that rematch clause in place, but, man, it didn't look like that type of fight. Like, you know, like when Sugar Ray lost to Duran, that it was, you could feel the tension and the emotions like, yo, we got to run that back. And then when Bivol and Beterbiev fought, same sentiment. There was something there in the ring that was like, we got to run that back. Before we can even turn the channel to football or basketball, it was already in the ethos like, yo, yeah, they're running it back. They going to fight it back again. People thought Bivol won. A lot of people didn't think Beterbiev won. And they had it in contract, but the energy felt the energy on this fight. My bad. The energy on this fight doesn't look like they're gonna run it back, man. That's all I just wanted to say.
I mean that definitely was just a things on just an intangible on the table, right? I didn't even think about it, but I thought it was a great angle as far as like Boots. The argument as far as that, for the first time, in my opinion, in Boots' career, he seems like he's running shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as on the business level, as far as on that A side conversation, Boots doesn't seem. We got to see. His next fight will be his best fight. That'll be the fight. And I don't mean his best as far as performance. I'm saying as far as him flexing his A side muscle. You know what I'm saying? As far as Eddie Hearn and him like doing what they want to do. Let's see how much ease they have to do that. Let's see if they're able to go ahead and do what they feel like doing and how they wield that sword, right? How they wield that sword that's been given to them as kings of this shit, right? It is what it is. Hold on a second. Ring just announced it. I gotta pull it up. Go ahead and speak. Whoever wants to speak. I'm gonna try to find the proof here before I make this announcement here.
Let me speak.
What heck? I gotta find this.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it right now. I'm gonna find it
right now. Twitter. Shakur ain't said nothing on Twitter about it.
So let me speak real fast. Hey Clay, I just missed you on Flyer channel. Okay. So a lot of people were saying Xander didn't fight the correct fight, and I disagree.
Yeah, it's going down. It's going down.
I say that he fought the correct fight. The reality is he fought the best fight for him, and the best fight for him would be not to run because he gets winded. And if you get winded versus Boots, it's night-night. 100%. So your only ability is to go in. Hopefully you can get him tired. You can get him frustrated. You can possibly get him tired. And then you can start running.
Bro, he got it didn't matter. And he doesn't get winded, though.
Hold on. Let him land. So come on now.
He has the feet. He might have the feet that Karen got, but he don't have the upper body movement that Karen got. So he won't be able to run as good as Karen did. He could possibly get lucky if he would have got him tired or if he would have possibly clipped him. And then another factor is he got clipped the first round. He even said it. I didn't get my feet back until like the 3rd round. So if you get clipped that early, that even if that was his A game, that went right out the window because he didn't have the leg run.
Yeah.
So he had to stand and bang with the guy as much as he could. But I also think that would have been his A game to begin with, because he told the guy, you're going to be chasing shadows. But the reality is you're not going to really tell him your real game plan. Like y'all having a post, not post, the press conference, but you're not going to say your A game during the press conference. So that was a smoke screen right there. And he said, yo, you're going to go against a big guy. He's struggling to make 54. And he kept telling me, you never fought a real 54-pounder. He came in at like 180-something. Nobody that big is planning on running. They came in that heavy.
He always runs, bro. I mean, that's his style. He's not a front foot fighter. He's never been a front foot fighter.
I thought versus a boss, he did a lot of moving around, but that's because he knew a boss, so he knew what would work for a boss.
So let me
one of them two going to work for.
You don't watch Andre's boxing like me and Clay do. The kid does not fight the way he fought that day ever.
So let me ask Clay something real quick. What does promotional mean to you?
What does promotional?
Yeah, like when it says promotional deal, what does that mean to you?
That means that the fighter who signed with the promoter has a deal now to be exclusively promoted by whoever signed them. You know what I mean? Exclusively, that's what promotional means. It means that I'm responsible, exclusively have rights to be responsible for promoting all of your biggest events.
So does that mean he's relinquishing titles and stuff like that? Or
no, he's not a league.
Okay, see, that's why I was that's what I'm asking, because it's certain ways that fighters can go about doing these deals where they don't just have to sign a plain deal like I guess like Jai Opataya did, where he just lost everything when he went over there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was a mishap by Zuffa and that fight. They're not a league, and they're not going to be a league for some time. So whatever plans they had at that time, they know that they cannot do that, and so they're going to have to act like another promoter right now. It's a good signing for them, for Zuffa. Good for you, Clay. Good for you, Clay. Look at him.
Is it good for me? It's good for everybody,
but you've been calling it, bro. But you know what? Who's been saying it quietly? Gary Antoine Russell, bro. He's got something big going on right now, so I just can't really say much. And so, but guess what? The Matchroom lost Zuffa. Shakur. But then today, Tio himself signs an exclusive deal with DAZN. So there was a trade-off today between the two.
So Tio did sign an exclusive deal with DAZN.
Yep.
Very interesting, right? Very interesting from Keith Connolly's point of view. By the way, he's moving like a fish through water in this boxing space. People can hate on him all they want. He's doing the most.
He's a shark, bro.
Yeah, he's killing it. He's coming with that Dana White, Eddie Hearn energy. Like he's got that like bloodthirsty, like, yeah, bro, we're playing for keeps here. So okay, that makes sense. So wait, hold on. Teofimo Lopez signs an exclusive deal with DAZN and not with any particular promotional company.
That's what he had also with ESPN. Even though he had he had an exclusive contract with ESPN, and so that's what he did again over here with DAZN. So.
Ooh, very, 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 very interesting here. Let me go ahead and pull this up for us guys, though. So let's get into this piece and this bit of news.
Let's get into it. Yeah, breaking news.
Zuffa Boxing here on ESPN. I tried to find it on the Ring website. I heard on the I guess on Instagram they announced it, and on Twitter they announced it, but they didn't.
I got the poster by Ring right there for you in private.
Say it again. Oh, you put it in.
Yeah, in the private chat. I got the Ring post.
Oh, perfect. Maybe. Well, let me read this and I'll put that. So let me read here. Zuffa Boxing has rocked the boxing landscape with the landmark signing, securing 4 Division World Champion Shakur Stevenson to a multi-fight deal. The promotion confirmed with ESPN on Thursday. Shakur is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. He's 29 years old, undefeated, and already a 4-division world champion. Zuffa Boxing co-founder Dana White said in a statement to ESPN, "This is a massive signing for Zuffa Boxing, and I'm looking forward to promoting his next fight." Stevenson, 25-0, 11 knockouts, is the highest profile and most decorated name to sign with Dana White, fledgling fledgling promotion, joining Conor Benn, Pattaya, Richardson Hitchens, and Edgar Berlanga. This 2016 U.S. Olympic silver medalist has won world championships at featherweight, blah, 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 according to CompuBox, even blah, 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 born and raised in New York, blah, 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 blah. Line them up one by one. I'll beat all the top guys once I get them in front of me. Stevenson said, with Zuffa Boxing, I'm going to go after the biggest fights in the sport, and I will become the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I think that's a very important statement right there, because the biggest fights in boxing are not with other Zuffa fighters, right? I think we all can agree with that. So that being said, once again, Zuffa continues to move with that whole entire, we're looking to make the biggest fights, and just kind of going against the idea that Zuffa is going to be an island. Like, they continue to be defiant, and it continue as far as their actions, as far as what they do. Their words may be in a gray area sometimes when they're knocking sanctioning bodies, when they're having those conversations, but their actions continue to be the actions of somebody who's going to continue to operate in the whole entire traditional space of boxing with the biggest stars. And now with the money machine behind Shakur Stevenson, now with that machine behind him, it seems more realistic that these big fights are going to be made. So it says here, it is not known what weight class Stevenson will compete in, which will be very important because he's a 140-pound champion right now. And obviously at 135, he said he can make that weight. But if it ain't 140, if it ain't 135, will he get up in those conversations with Richardson Hitchens? Will he get in those conversations with Devin Haney finally on the Zuffa boxing platform, or with that promotion behind him? Will they be able to offer him up enough money to do what he just said here, which is make the biggest fights in the world? Given Zuffa's frigid relationship with the sanctioning bodies, it is expected that he will vacate his WBO title. Emiliano Vargas, get your shoes tight, get your boxing boots tied up. Let's see what Emiliano Vargas does with it, holding that #2 spot in the WBO rankings. You got to think he's going to start to move around a little bit and get active. It is also unknown whether Zuffa Boxing will look to work with other promoters to secure fights with Stevenson, as the promotion currently lacks high-level opponents. And that's what we're just talking about right now, right? We're just talking about the fact that if Shakur wants to make the biggest fights in the game, in fact, if that is the case, if they do want to make the biggest fights in the game, it's not with Zuffa boxers. I mean, the Raul Venezuela fight is a nice little fight. We just saw Raul Venezuela do what he did, but multi-fight deal.
I know who's fighting next. I know who's going to fight next.
You already got in your mind who's going to be?
Zuffa's going to end up signing Lomachenko, and they're going to have that fight.
I like it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. And there it is, man. Ring Magazine posted it up right here, man. This is official Ring Magazine. Shout out to my brother HLD for providing me with the link here. Zuffa Boxing, man, signed Shakur Stevenson. We kept hearing about it. We knew it was on the way, but now it's official, and now it changes the conversation and landscape of things. And I'm telling you guys, that's why I knew that. Even with the Devin Haney situation, people were asking those questions like, why won't he just sign with Devin Haney? I was telling people, this man's in the middle of inking out the biggest deal of his career, bro. He's not making fights right now. He's getting this deal squared away. He's getting the X's and O's. He's getting the T's crossed, the I's dotted. He's making sure his money hits his bank account. He's looking at new houses for him and his wife. He's looking at wedding plans for him and his wife. He's probably getting ready to make a new baby. This motherfucker got shit to do, bro. And Devin Haney ain't on top of the list. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I agree. And I tell you, there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of options. And I agree with what you're saying. I mean, he's not going to just maybe it is a big fight, but it's only one big fight. But I could get all these millions over here. Why am I going to what am I? No, good for him. Good for Shakur.
It's good that you're motivated and you want to fight me all of a sudden, and you're willing to do this catch weight, and that's awesome. That's what's up. I'll get with you. I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'll get with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? But you gonna have to hold on, brother. I've been waiting my whole life. You're definitely gonna have to hold on, right? Like, you're gonna have to wait for me, bro. I'll be with you in a minute, brother. But hold up.
And I don't think he's relinquishing that title. Zuffa is not a league right now. So all that, only the original divisions that we've had, I don't think that they're on that right now. I think that they try to do that with the Jairo Pattaya when they were trying to, the Zuffa belt one time, but they're not. I don't think they're on that time right now. I think they're just gonna make whatever fights best can be made, period, regardless of the weight class it is. But until it's a league, they're gonna be right there.
Even if they do strip them, right? HOD, like what I think the fans gotta understand, like, Shakur is a 4-division champion. He started at 130?
126.
He started at 126. So while you got the fan base wars and whatnot, we got to understand that he's accomplished a lot in this game right now. So him signing the Zuffa to me is like a prestige level,
Well, yeah, I mean he's entering. He's 29, I think he is, right. He's about 28 years old, 28. So yeah, I mean, good for him. Yeah, it is, man. So good for him.
1 or 2 fights. This is
No, it's not 1 or 2 fights. It's not 1 or 2 fights. It's more than 1 or 2
4 or 5 fights. It's gonna be like Conor. It's gonna be a lot of fights, bro. Dana don't do that. That's not how Dana operates. Even with Conor Benn, everybody thought that Conor Benn got the 1 fight deal. I knew. I'm like, no, it ain't. You know what I'm saying?
$15 million for 1 fight.
That's not how Dana moved, bro. That's just not his MO. You know what I'm saying? He might have gave it to the world and let the world see it as 1 fight deal, and especially against Regis Prograde. Dana ain't going like that, bro.
Yeah, I knew that was like.
I don't see this as a big announcement because it was already speculated for so long that he didn't really have any options left. You get what I'm saying?
I think Shakur's always had options, but I'm going to tell you why this is a big announcement, Dr. Eugene. The reason this is a big announcement because now the boxing space can brace for fight announcements. You know what I'm saying? Because now this elephant is removed from the room. This is what's been holding everything up. So as far as a boxing fan is concerned, we don't care about Shakur Stevenson making money or him getting a big deal, blah, 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 blah. That's all good, right? What we really hear when we see shit like this is, oh, awesome. When's the fight going to get announced? You know what I'm saying?
That's not the elephant. The elephant is the weight.
Right. That's it.
That's the real elephant.
Yeah, and the weight, 100%, and the weight class, right? But all those things we know that Zuffa don't make announcements like this, and then it's coming, right? Like within the next week or two, we're going to hear what we want to hear, which is we're going to find out the weight, like you said. We're going to find out the fight, and we're going to find out, we're going to see Shakur Stevenson for the first time. And this is just me personally, right? Maybe not for everybody else, but for me personally, I'm going to see Shakur Stevenson make fights. Shakur has a machine behind him now. There's no more waiting on contracts to come to him, waiting on offers. Now I put the pressure on Shakur that I put on Gervonta Tank Davis when he left Mayweather Promotions. When Gervonta Tank Davis left Mayweather Promotions, one of my biggest things was Gervonta, it's time for you to make the fights. Because it was always Mayweather Promotions. It was always Al Heyman. It was always these people who got in the way of the fights. But once he became independent in GTD Promotions and Al was really supposedly whatever, just an advisor, I expected Tank. I put the pressure and held him accountable for not making the Shakur Stevenson fight, for not making the Devin Haney fight, for not making the Teofimo fight. Because I looked at him as a guy who could do that now. Who the chains was ripped off of. I was like, brother, you can do whatever you want now. You're the A side. And now Shakur Stevenson being over at Zuffa Boxing, having a machine behind him, he offers the biggest paydays to most fighters out there that we want to see him fight. I want to see him move with that energy.
Yep. He got somebody backing him. Exactly.
But who are the fights? The biggest fight for Shakur that everybody want to see is Tank.
Listen, we can get Haney.
And the biggest fight for all three, pretty much all three of them, the biggest 2 fights are each other. And the reality is, once those fights are over, people like who next?
I don't like Tank.
So I think they just stretched it out.
But Tank is the anomaly of those guys. Tank is the anomaly of those guys. He don't need any of those guys because he could fight a bag of onions and he's gonna sell his group to and it doesn't matter.
A lot of fight between Tank and a bag of onions, bro.
Right, that's it. And he's right. He's a globetrotter, bro, and the people support him. So he's got a onions
with an uppercut.
That's it. And you know what I'm saying? But it's the truth. Tank is the only guy who really don't need anybody because he's got his fan base is solidified and he's gonna sell out whatever stadium he's gonna sell out at. And he, whatever, if it's 50,000 or 150,000 pay-per-views, that's good enough for him to make his change that he needs. And that's that. He don't need these other guys. He needs them for legacy, but he's never been on that time and day. He's not a legacy fighter. He's a globetrotter. So he don't need none of these guys. He's going to sell. For us, we would like to see that, to see how good you really are, but he don't care for that, guys. Never has and never will.
I think the biggest fights for Shakur are the best fights on the table. That's the biggest fights. Obviously, Gervonta Tank Davis is the biggest fight, in my opinion. It's a fight everybody wants to see. It makes sense. But obviously Devin Haney's one of the fights as well. Gary Antoine Russell is one of the fights as well. Dalton Smith is a big fight. There are fights out there that people aren't asking for, but are still great fights. I think the Rayo Venezuela fight is going to be a great fight. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think there's fights out there to be made for Shakur Stevenson that will age. The ones that aren't obvious, right? Like when you look at I was about to pull you up, Sam. I seen you over there in the Discord. I put my headset on and everything. Anyway, but I think there's the fights that we see, that we want, that we know, like Gervonta, Devin. Those are the obvious fights, right? But then there's fights stylistically, I think, that are there to be very competitive, great fights for Shakur Stevenson in his career. And if this deal is squared away where he's just going to make his money anyway, there's no longer the picking and choosing doesn't have to be that much of a big deal. If he makes a fight with Dalton Smith, big fight. He makes a fight with Gary Antoine Russell, big fight. He makes a fight, you know what I'm saying, with Oshaki Foster. If he, Foster wants to come up to 135, big fight. And obviously 147, Richardson Hitchens, Devin Haney, those fights are all big fights.
That's the good thing about these deals, Clay. The thing is, he got his money, but he doesn't got a say in who he's gonna fight next. It's what Zuffa says you're gonna fight next. He gave up that right. I guarantee he gave up that right with this for the money that he got paid. And I know he didn't get paid no chump change. So good for him. But and so good, and at the same time, good that we don't have to say, no, you don't get to choose. We want this fight next, and that's it. And that's that.
Look, just to piggyback off of what the brother had just said, right before you spoke, HOD. I know boxing is a business, but I think that's because he said after he fights these people, who's next, and I agree. It's kind of like what I've been saying for a minute. Again, I know boxing is a business, but we've gotten into over the past maybe like 6-7 years, maybe since COVID, it's been like big fight. We need big fight after big fight. But then we want our fighters to fight 2 and 3 times a year. We can't get 2 and 3 fights. Like, we're not going to be able to get, Jaron to fight 3 times a year for 4 years, and they all going to be big fights. That's not reality. And I think it's just the way that, we've been conditioned as fans, because I agree with the brother that has said that, like, who's next? But I think that's kind of like the fault of how, these big purses and these big events, and we got to have a big event, got to be a big event. Sometimes you just got to defend your belt. Sometimes you just got to do a title defense. Sometimes you just got to knock some people off. And, everything isn't a big parade and we got to bring everybody out type thing. Sometimes you got to go suit up and handle business. And I think we've gotten away from that when it comes to the sport of boxing. And, so I agree with the brother, but I'm going to pass it.
Yeah, no doubt. I think that it's not necessarily Zuffa Boxing is not necessarily going to put a killer in front of Shakur Stevenson every time. They're very aware of the idea of milking the money from a star. They understand not to burn that man crazy. And Shakur is probably only going to be fighting twice a year. I'm telling you right now. He's going to fight twice a year. So he's going to be able to move these. He has enough fights right now for the next, let's say, 2.5 years to fight twice a year, and it'd all be decent fights, right? Like he could fight Rayo Venezuela on his next coming fight. Then he can wait 6 months and he can go ahead and see if Gervonta and him could kind of figure it out in that time period, make a fight happen there. Or he could fight Oshaki Foster in the next fight. Oshaki will probably more than likely on the back end of this Navarrete fight, he'll probably move into 135. And at that point, boom, he's right in the conversation of fighting Shakur. Then he can go into these fights can move very seamlessly, but smooth, because Shakur is not going to fight 3 times a year. I promise you. He has bad hands. He ain't trying to do that. And Dana is not trying to do that as well, because he wants to. These signings and these big money signings are about making Zuffa Boxing big, making the brand big. He's not trying to get Shakur knocked out per se. He'll put him in competitive fights that the place wants to see, but he's not trying to burn this dude out. You know what I'm saying? That's not what he's trying to do.
He's going to try to stretch him for the 7-year deal so he could build up for that next signing. So you guys got to understand the business. You guys got to understand the business and where they're at. So they're going to try to push Shakur to make him a star and to make him the household name so that they can go into, because by that time, Shakur's going to be retiring by the time that 7-year deal is up.
They want him to headline. They want him to headline big cards where they can make young stars. You feel me? Like they want to take young stars. Like you saw how they put Emiliano Vargas right behind Xander in boots, and they gave him an opportunity. Now all of a sudden Shakur's going to move around the way. If they do if that belt situation does become a situation where Shakur walks away from it, Emiliano Vargas is right in position. He was right there in the Super Bowl halftime show. He's right there. They're building. They're using. Everything is Dana works like that. He's already thinking 3, 4, 5 years down the line. When he's making a move like this, he's thinking it's not about Shakur. It's about using Shakur, using Devin, using Hitchens, using Edgar Berlanga to prop up a Jaleel Hackett, to prop up a Julian Rodriguez, to prop up a Rayo Venezuela. You know what I'm saying? To prop up these fighters behind them, whether it's as opponents or as fighters, as co-headliners or whatever, even on the main card of a main event. There's all these different like strategic thinking points from somebody like Dana White, who's building a brand right now, in the beginning of building a brand. It's not necessarily about just putting you in front of a killer. Yeah, if you're, a younger fighter, I'm putting you in front of killers. But if I get a Shakur Stevenson or I get a Devin Haney, I'm not necessarily trying to put him in front of killers. I am to a degree, but I'm more so trying to benefit over promotion.
Yeah. It's like use them for promotion for our band.
I'm telling you, Loma's gonna make a lot of money in the next year because they're gonna sign him. Zuffa's gonna sign Lomachenko, and that's what's gonna happen.
Shout out to Oso Wilson 9 in the building. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you for the love. Says he has to drop the belts, and I'll shake my head. We don't know that. We don't know that he's dropping that belt. I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't know that to be true, man. You know what I mean? I think, but I'll tell you this though. Gustavo Olivieri said something very interesting in that Najee, in the Najee interview, right? And what he said was, Zuffa can't bid on WBO fights because they haven't been licensed. They haven't paid or gotten their license to promote and push WBO sanctioned fights. So look out for Zuffa and see what they're going to do with that, though, because I know it's nothing to get one, but for me, it's kind of interesting that you would scout a Devin Haney, scout a Shakur Stevenson, WBO champions, and not get a license to promote fights and the belts that they have. Why are you doing that? I mean, maybe that's what they're going to do now. Maybe on the back end of an announcement like this, maybe they'll do it now, right?
Why not? I mean, it doesn't, bro. That's pennies for them to do.
I think it's coming down the line.
The fight out the UK is the tester for the Aaron McKinney fight, because that's for a belt on Zuffa. That's coming up.
Right. That's for, was that for an IBF or what is that? Is that an IBF?
So. I think so.
So, and that's also, don't forget, Zuffa's currently in court right now with Jal Pataya, and Zuffa's back in Jal Pataya. Turkey is however you want to look at it. Sounds like one thing to me, but they're in court still trying to fight for Jal Pataya's IBF belt to come back as well, right? So, like I said, Zuffa boxing continues to move as an organization who have full plans on operating in the traditional boxing space as we know it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think, and like HLD said multiple times on the platform, the Ali Act hasn't been passed yet, and until that's passed yet, we don't know what the real game plan all the way is. We don't know the freedom that the Ali Act gives them. Will they really, at this point, boycott the sanctioning bodies, or that does that just add more options for Zuffa boxing that they plan on dealing with? Will they still operate in the traditional space but still take advantage of the privilege that the Ali Act gives them, which is to also have a league and operate in a separate way that does alienate the sanctioning bodies, does make it to where they're not paying out fees for their fighters that have intercontinental belts and interim belts and silver belts and NBO belts and local belts and domestic belts and Chick-fil-A belts and colonial belts, and you know what I'm saying? Belts that they find a way to get money through, you know what I mean?
I mean, they stuck according to the law and according to the sanctioning body bylaws. So they stuck under those two laws. But once they get that passed, now they have freedom to move outside the law, or really parallel with the law and their own law. And then they also have the parallel to move with the sanctioning body bylaws. Yeah, we not stuck to doing this because legally we can do that. That's how they gonna move it.
Right, like Dr. Eugene, if you had the freedom and you had the money and you were doing your boxing thing, and you got this Ali Revival Act passed, that means, listen, I'm gonna play in a traditional space when it makes sense for me and my brand, but at the same time, fights will not be held up because of sanctioning body nonsense. I will still have my fighters, my young fighters, active. Right, there will be a league. I got a belt for them. I've got activity for them. I've got a show for the fans. I've got something to run on Paramount, and we will continue to keep that going because why wouldn't I? It's an option of mine, and I got the money to do it. Am I bugging?
But that's the thing. Nobody knows once they pass a law, will they be able to jump back and forth? Now they can do it. Now they can jump back and forth.
Trust me, if Nick Khan is involved in this,
I don't know.
If Nick Khan is involved in this, Nick Khan's going to make sure. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you, bro. Nick Khan is a shark, bro. He's not doing a deal that does not give him his team all the freedom in the world. These dudes are going to do what they want to do, and that's what's going to. And the Senate is already on board too. You saw that circus show with Oscar De La Hoya and Nico Ali Walsh. That was a circus show, bro. They already knew what they were doing. They were just giving them. Go ahead, speak your mind. By the way, Daniel, we still got them tickets. My God, there we go. That's what I'm saying, man. We popping up to nigga. Well, I'm sorry, I missed you, Oscar. I mean, no, but look, I should have done that, Oscar. You're right. Go ahead. What were you saying again? Yeah. That's what's up.
if you jump out of that realm, now you're taking the money out of that realm. So me as a sanctioning body, if you're taking the money out, what's the benefit of me letting you use my stuff?
Purses.
Yeah, use my stuff.
You guys have made yourself cheap hoes, bro. And it's easy to fix you guys. Why aren't you going to say no to me? Because the biggest purses are going to be with the biggest stars, and I'm going to be paying those purses. And unless you got the balls to boycott money, which I know that don't even go with your damn description of what you do, when I need you, I'll call you. And guess what you're going to do? Answer the bell, bro. You're going to open the door and say, how can I help you, bro? Because we got the bag. Now, if TNT, if DAZN can manage to get a budget big enough to pay for these big fights, in other words, David Benavidez needs a big purse right now. I don't know that the PBC can facilitate that for him. They need ring. They need Turkey. They need seller money. They need Saudi Arabian money to pay him $10, $15 million a fight.
Well, he's a free agent, right? He became a free agent. He's about to.
Listen, the last time I heard, he was supposed to be done on the back end of the Zurdo Ramirez fight. But then I'm hearing the Noel McKellen is supposed to be the last one, right? But he's definitely in the last bit of the stretch of his contract with PBC, and I don't know if he's renewed that contract, and I don't know why he would, because he's a big star right now. Why would you lock yourself down? Why wouldn't you carry it like Canelo, like even Devin Haney, like Gervonta? Why wouldn't you carry it in a way that gives you an opportunity to get money wherever you feel like it? Why would you lock yourself down?
Benavidez the Zupa next?
You never know, bro. It's about money, right? Listen, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because he didn't look, man. If you look at that Zurdo fight, that was an empty ass stadium, and how many people bought that fight? 25 people. So, like, there was no money for that. There was no money for that man to get paid. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, it has. I wouldn't be surprised that he ends up signing with Zuffa, and then we get that Jairo Pataya fight.
Or he may sign an exclusive deal like Tio did with DAZN, right? Maybe he signs an exclusive deal. Maybe DAZN is able to offer him. Bottom line is money. This is prize fighting, and we made, not we, they did, right? The business of boxing has always been built around money. And what's always attracted fighters to a PBC or to a top rank was based on the networks that these guys were on and the money that the networks are offering. The networks have drawn a line in the sand in the past 3 years. They're not hitting out these checks no more. They're like, oh, show and prove. We supposed to make money when you make money. If the event goes by, we should all be making money. Ain't no more of your fighters make a bunch of money, you made a bunch of money, and you keep kicking the can down the road with us saying that, trust me, it's going to be making money, right? There's no more of that. Yeah. So now if it make dollars, it makes sense for these networks, and they haven't been able to figure that out yet, right? The only and from the fighters' point of view, the only people who've been able to figure out paying them money without caring if it's profitable or not is Saudi. You know what I'm saying? Saudi has not been caring about the return. They've been like, we're just gonna shoot you this bag, bro, because we want to see this fight. So
just the branding. All they're all about right now is the branding.
Yeah. So you gotta make it make sense.
Even on that, you see, even on that, they kind of cut back doing that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but they did that because of a control. They did that because now they're making the negotiation with them important, right? So because before Turkey was like, you don't got to leave where you're at. We just work with you, blah, blah, blah. But now Turkey's wanting a little bit more loyalty, right? He's wanting a little bit of act, right? Like, hey, I'm not going to keep shooting you this bread, bro. You coming over here not. What's going on? You feel me? That's how it goes, right? It's kind of like the girl. I don't want to say like the girl, but, you know what I mean? Shout out to the queens in the building. But, you know, I could take you out a couple of times and show you a good time. You know what I'm saying? It's not a problem. We can go try. If I got the money, we can take a private jet somewhere. But don't get it twisted. You're not dealing with Willie Lump here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not no dumbass. At some point or another, I'm gonna want to know what's up with that. All that lingerie I bought you. You heard? And then you gonna have to talk to me right. So I'm gonna chill for a second and let you hang back out in the projects. You know what I mean? Chill. And you call me when you're ready. No pressure. Just give me a call.
But Turkey has so much power that for Wembley Stadium, they have an 11 o'clock curfew. And he just had the mayor over there just tell him, no, man, you got it open till 4 a.m. And it's by law. It's not like something it's not an ordinance. It's a law that Wembley Stadium has to be done by 11. Bro, Turkey somehow told him it's going to be open till 4 a.m. over at Wembley. So, I mean, the guy's got money to push whatever he wants. And if he wants you dancing the way he wants you dance, that's what's going to happen.
Hey, man, get on that pole and do the dance for me. Put it together, man. Make it make sense for me, baby. You looking good, but you ain't looking that good. I ain't just finna just keep tricking on you like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
Yeah, he had Eddie Hearn saying publicly, bro, that he would shoe shine his feet back down he'll get down his knees and clean his feet, bro. That's what Eddie Hearn said that in public.
Yeah,
I'm like,
really, bro.
My wife hit me with a text and said, "That's disgusting."
I made him say it.
Hey, no, but what I'm saying, hey, yo, Boots and Benavidez my top two, and they have options. What options does Jai have, though? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He's not. He was Zuffa, but what options do he have as far as fighting wise?
Who, Jai?
Yeah, because he remember he mentioned about going up the heavyweight. Remember that?
Yeah. I think with Jai, I think there is a game plan. They're pretty much building a division around him. They signed a lot of cruiserweights. Look, for Jai, he's getting paid no matter what, right? That's the most important thing for him at this point, because you got to remember where he was coming from. See, people can't hang anything over Jai Bataille's head, because people want to be like, now what? Now what? I'm getting money. Yeah, but you want to be. I wasn't getting that anyway. Stop talking to me as if I was getting ready to become undisputed or I was getting ready to unify. Everybody was ducking me. At least now I'm getting money, though. So my worst case scenario is I'm getting money. You know what I'm saying? As far as, making the big fights, it's going to be an uphill battle. But guess what? It was an uphill battle already for me. So what do you want me to say? I'm saying, what are you trying to say to me now? You feel me?
At least that isn't costing me paydays now.
Right. At least I'm moving out this fucking townhouse and I'm getting me a crib for me, my wife, and my kids, bro. At least I'm changing some shit up, some generational wealth, trying to build up some real bread. And, hopefully it works out when it's all said and done. But my worst case scenario is we got the Honda Accord. We gave the Honda Accord away. You heard? We didn't even sell it. We don't even care how we gave that away to a cousin. We moving differently right now. You know what I'm saying? We doing premium fuel. You know what I'm saying? 93 or better, baby. You know what I'm saying? We ain't playing around with y'all no more, bro. We outside. We moving around this whole entire planet like it's, we flying in private jets like it's a Spirit airline. You know what I'm saying? So the lifestyle has changed. And my worst case scenario is great for me. So I don't give a damn. But I still want to fight, all the champions. But still, I'm getting some money.
Right.
Hey, check out the picture I put in there for you at the private chat for you.
Let me see here.
I don't see him lasting that long. I think.
Oh yeah.
Like 3 or 4 fights. Then he going to heavyweight.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Let's go. Let me post this up real quick here. Boop, 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 and boop. Yes. And boop and boop. And yeah, man, that's Dana White's famous. He loves to do this, right? That's what he does. And this is when you know it's official, right? This is what Dana loved to do. And he looking happy. My man looking good. Let's look at the hands real quick here. Hold on a second. Anytime I get a close-up picture of Shakur, I always try to get the hands. You know what I'm saying? I was going to make sure my guys doing right.
You trying to say they throwing up gang signs?
Yeah, no, you know what I mean? I just like to look at my guy's hands and just make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Dana White part of the mob.
He got a little knuckle thing going over there in that middle knuckle right there, but he good for the most part. He is shaking Dana's hand very carefully, though. If you look at the way they're shaking hands.
Yeah, I saw that.
Hey, man, shout out to my guy, man. Congratulations on your deal, man. Yeah, I know what it is, man. Listen, man.
That dude got to keep his hands right.
Those hands is paying for the new house and everything, bro. Yeah. Don't shake my hands hard, baby.
Hey, yo, them hands too brittle to even shake his hand hard. That's crazy.
Hey, bro, but they're good. We wrap them up good. We doing the best therapy, and we ready to fight whoever. But yeah, don't shake my hand hard, fam. Chill.
Get that monster anyway, rap. That's what it is.
Bill Haney and Devin Haney, they punching air right now, man. They punching air right now.
Well, actually, bro, Devin just posted on his Twitter. He said he got an announcement coming up next. Like an hour before.
Yeah, he's got
an hour before
or he's gonna drop his belt. One of the two.
No, that man is that handshake is a very like, yeah, fuck these dudes. Like you could see it in his face, right? Like Shakur Stevenson has got a legitimate, you know what I'm saying?
You ain't qualified to give motherfucking rules on the fucking game, you fucking bozo.
Right? Am I bugging? That's what Shakur look like he's saying. Shakur look like he clearly saying, you don't make the motherfucking rules. Fucking sanctioning bodies. Shakur showing the whole world he's in spite of what you guys thought. And I love when I see, and I always celebrate these fighters for getting these opportunities because in spite of the limitations that the boxing space tried to put on me, telling me what I have to do, telling me the options I have and I don't have, telling me what I had to bend the knee to, what I had to concede to, I continue to, in spite of that, leap bounds, jump, you know what I'm saying? Move forward and change my family's life. You hating ass SOBs. Take that. You know what I'm saying? Take that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but now you're going to get a Zuffa belt. Your mama, nigga. Your mama.
Oh,
but the
man.
thing
People
is,
people be hating on this. Like, I can see the video now.
Yo, but I got all the sources way better than me said the same thing, that Haney and Shakur was both signed to Zuffa, and the only holdup was trying to make sure they fought each other in the contract. And Shakur was the one holding that up. So if he signed this deal, that means Haney and Shakur are going to fight 100%. And that was one of the major holdups. But I can see that though, because Shakur real, he like Money Mayweather. He want everything designed already. I want to know 3-fight deal. Okay, who are those 3 people?
How much I'm getting?
Well, there's I don't know if you know who Andreas Hale is, but he said he just spoke with Shakur Stevenson, and he said he only signed with them if he could get the biggest fights, and so that means there will be no fight with Rayo Venezuela. He said that he shot that down immediately. You know, the big fights would be Garcia or Haney are in play. That's what he said.
That's what I'm talking about.
And Conor Benn. Remember he was in the ring talking about Conor Benn.
Yeah, probably Conor Benn too. Conor Benn.
So no shock fight.
Nope.
That's how
it can happen. Yeah. It can happen. It'll just have to be across the street, but it can happen. That's one thing about it, man. And Shakur and Dana White, more importantly, continues to say anything is possible, right? He continues to make it clear that, you know what I'm saying, anything can happen, bro. You know what I mean? Because why? Why is he saying that? He's saying that because I got money. And this game is not as complicated as people want to make it sound like. You guys want to make it more complicated, but what it's about is money. I got a lot of that. I haven't even touched into my Paramount deal yet. You know what I mean? Turkey's been paying these fighters, the Conor Benns and everything like that. And we ain't even topping. We got $100 million a year to play around with. $100 million a year to play around with. How much is Golden Boy's budget for the year? What did Top Rank get for the year? What are y'all budgets? What, 20 million, 30 million, 10 million? Right. What budgets you guys have? I got 100, and we haven't even tapped into it yet.
I'm gonna say Shakur probably got about $40 to $50 million deal, maybe in total. Tio just announced that his deal. Tio announced his deal with DAZN and Takeover Promotions is worth a little over $20 million.
Hey, so, Clay, you see the last comment?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
Salute to T.O. able to come. I mean, salute to all these guys, bro. They getting
good for them, bro. They're making their money, man. Well earned.
And also, this is what Oscar De La Hoya. I mean, what Oscar De La Hoya, Lord Child, what Dana White does, right? Like, you see how he does it, how he works. Why wasn't the announcement made? The announcement wasn't made because I gotta line everything up. I gotta have Ring Magazine lined up, ESPN. We're gonna get them on First Take. We're gonna get them on. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna shake the whole entire world up, man. You know what I'm saying? Here he is right here on with Chris Mannix, man. I might have to do a show tomorrow because of this shit. You know what I'm saying? This is a whole different show.
Hey, man, Zuffa TV. You gotta put out the good news for Zuffa TV.
No, I mean, all these interviews, he might announce the next fight. He might do all types of shit, right? Like, so much might happen in these next couple of days. My guy, Dr. Eugene, was sitting here like, I want to know this, I want to know that. It looks like Shakur's on a media campaign. I got a feeling we might get some of those answers. Maybe not all of them, but then again, maybe all of them. I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't wait. The interview I really want to wait on is the one he does with Andre Ward, bro. That's everybody know that's the main interview. That's the one where he gonna really talk crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Devin. And he said 2 hours ago, big news coming. Who knows?
Boom.
You see what I'm
Cloud
saying?
chasing? Is he cloud chasing, or is he or is he gonna vacate his belt to fight? Then maybe they do that. Who knows?
Like Shakur, he's trying to fight for that vacant.
Yeah, he posted that before the ring announced Shakur signing the Zuffa.
I mean that.
Hey, Jay Prince was saying you got to vacate the belt, so maybe the vacating the belt means signing to Zuffa. You get a guaranteed money contract, and yeah, who cares about the belt at that point?
Brother, it's a great time to be a boxing fan, bro, because we're watching historical needle moving moments happen in real time. Just even with this whole Zuffa situation, with how they're moving in this Ali Act and these fighters who are choosing. And the thing about it I think is very interesting, gentlemen, is that fighters have been complaining for years about how the sanctioning bodies have been unfair to them, how they don't understand why, from your Errol Spence's to your Terrence Crawford's, your Keyshawn Davis, your Shakur Stevenson's, even Oscar De La Hoya's hypocritical ass sat there on Shannon Sharp show, right, and said, the sanctioning body belts cost money. Nobody cares about them. I can go get me a belt from the flea market. The Ring Magazine belt is the belt because it's free, right? So fighters, this is an old talking point. And now they get an opportunity. They actually have something in front of them to where they can actually act on it. And it looks like the biggest stars in the game are starting to show and prove that, man, F these sanctioning bodies, right? They're looking at it like, these things, you ain't going to make me stay over here for these belts, bro, and continue to extort me. That shit that the WBC did with Shakur Stevenson, people can try to make sense of it all they want and say this is fair and it's not fair, but it doesn't make sense. Other athletes from other sports have spoken on this and go, what the hell are you talking about? It's one thing. First of all, it's diabolical that you're making me pay for a championship belt I'll whoop somebody's ass for, right? Secondly, the diabolical thing is the WBC, you think you should get a bigger bag for me fighting for a WBO belt at 140 than you did for me defending my WBC belt at 135. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And clearly there's no ends to where they'll go to make sense with their bylaws to continue to extort fighters out of that 3%. So when a fighter like Shakur Stevenson gets an opportunity to operate outside of that, and still on top of that, the cherry on top of it be make more money than I was making on that side anyway, it's got to be bittersweet. It's got to be bittersweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing these guys got to do, they got to deliver now. They can't be delivering no good fight. They got to deliver. They got to deliver. It can't be like all my way. Yeah, you're getting paid and everything, but now you got to deliver. And I hope that they do. I hope that they don't just try to rob the bag and that's that. No, you gotta give the fans what we need. You gotta give us a Boots Xander Zayas. Yo, put it all on the line, whether you like it or not, and you're gonna give us, because that's what we need. We need that emotional connection to that fight. And when we leave the fight, we're like, damn, that's
exactly what it is. That's what these fighters are starting to realize. Like, yeah, winning is winning, but it's about how you perform. The Abdullah Mason fight, I mean, it was a great fight. Like, you got to go out and put it all on the line. I mean, again, a win is a win, but when you jabbing and holding and it's a safe fight through all 12, it's a win. But the fans, just like what you said, HOD, you want to have a connection to the fight. You want to be excited about the fight. And performances like Xander, even though. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead, boss. Go ahead, boss.
Oh yeah, I guess just the performances that we've seen in the past couple of weeks, man, they've been electrifying, man. Like, we've seen Xander, put a great performance, and then a lot of people pick Boots, and we saw Boots go through adversity. A lot of people pick Mason, and we saw Mason have to figure out, some things out. Like, those are the type of fights that we want to see. Even though we might pick our guy to be dominant, we want to see him go through some adversity. That's what makes the fight exciting. So I agree with you, HOD, 100%.
Yeah, man. Because I'm going to tell you this, man. A lot of the ladies, they're showing up the guys. A lot of the ladies in boxing are showing up the guys and what entertainment is. You know what I mean? I'm still saying, I was in Barclays. But I'm telling you, it still didn't match the energy of Amanda Serrano Taylor at the Garden. It by nowhere even matched that. It was great energy. I loved it in Berkeley, but it doesn't match that type of energy and that excitement, and because that's what we need. And these guys gonna have to deliver if they want to make the sport come back to the forefront and take over the waves and give it the respect. Because right now, I'm sorry, she's treated like a stepdaughter in all sports. Boxing is not it. Hopefully, these guys become curators of the sport and understand that they got to take it over.
And people were talking about, we can, and definitely, I think I am going to do a live tomorrow, but revisiting the whole entire Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson negotiation, right? And that, people were talking about that Jay Prince kind of threw Keyshawn Davis kind of like to block the whole situation, take away the attention from Shakur. I would say that it's not that's not far-fetched at all. That's why Jay Prince did it, right? But I think people with limited thinking want to paint the picture as if it's a fear thing, right? That Shakur is scared of Devin or doesn't want to do it. No, I think Jay Prince was like, brother, I'm in the middle of negotiating one of the biggest bags of money. You know what I'm saying? Right now for one of my fighters. And when you already shot the fight down when we were talking about it in a real way. You know what I'm saying? You already said you wasn't coming down to 144, that you were going to stay at 147. Now we had to wait. So we went ahead and moved forward with negotiations and contracts with Zuffa Boxing, right? We started the process of that. Now, all of a sudden, you've changed your mind because you hear there's a big bag of money that Zuffa's willing to offer you, and you want us to stop everything we're doing to play this game with you out here in these streets. So now with Shakur Stevenson getting this deal out the way, let's see if Devin Haney still, look, are you willing to do it? Because if you come over to Zuffa Boxing, that WBO belt, they don't care about it like that. You said you were willing to do the catchweight fight. Are you willing to vacate that WBO belt in real time and make this fight happen with Shakur Stevenson and sign this deal with Zuffa Boxing? Or are you still caught up on the WBO belt and you're going to go defend it with Keyshawn? I'm good with it either way. Trust me. I'm ready to see either one of those fights. But I think right now, Shakur Stevenson's hands look like they're untied, right? Like, my hands aren't tied no more. We're good. Everything I had to get done, I just got that done, bro. I'm ready to chop it up. If you want to make that happen, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, Ryo, let's get it. If not, Ryo, I don't even give a damn no more. I'm locked in. Money good.
You know what, Clay? I'm not, look, knowing Jay Prince, knowing Bill Haney, especially Bill Haney, don't be surprised if both these brothers were in on this. Devin Haney ends up vacating the WBO because he's signing with it, and that's what was the game plan all along.
Right.
All along. And they and so they all just, look, man, I've always said this from Paco Valcarcel, former president of WBO. The business, this is his words, the business of boxing is not the fans' business. Yeah. And so you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. They're telling us they're letting us know what they want us to know.
Absolutely.
Not what we want to know. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Bill Haney and Jay Prince, that's why the hints were from Jay Prince. Drop the bell, and they like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make the storyline that we forced you to drop the belt.
Right.
But you were gonna drop it anyway because you're getting this $50 million contract coming with you anyway. Right. You know what I mean? It's a game, guys, and whatever it is, good for them. But I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all.
There's multiple ways this could have moved, right? But I think once again, this deal being done was important. You know what I'm saying? As far as Shakur from Jay Prince's side, this was important. Like, I'm not agreeing to anything, you know what I'm saying, outside of what, this is the most important thing for us. This is what's in the crosshairs for us as a team. And now that it's knocked out the way, I think his hands are untied, man. I think it is what it is. Do you guys think Devin will vacate, or do you think he'll fight Keyshawn? What are you guys thinking?
1 second to that. Hey, Clay, you have a show, so you can talk about boxing. But me, I'm getting burnt out with all this talking. I want to see people fight. At least back in the day when they talk, but eventually they still fought. Now, a lot of these fights, it's like up in the air, smoke screens, and then it never materialized. So I'm like, what the hell going on? I would like to see a lot of these fights actually just materialize. Like, you have it already there in a framework, and we talked about it enough. You can see us commenting and making videos about it, and y'all still not fighting. Like, what is going on? And I'm not saying just Tank and Devin Haney and Shakur. I'm talking about a lot of these good fights that people put together already.
I think that it's about the promoters. I think a lot of these promoters are being exposed on a very big level. I think the fighters are ready to make the fights. You know what I'm saying? But I think promoters in their ability to access resources to make these fights make sense for these fighters is being exposed at a high level. And they used to be able to get away with and not, it's not the right time, champ. We're working on it. We're building you up. We're building you up. Well, Zuffa is not slowed up like that. They're like, yo, bro, let's get it in. And even with the sanctioning bodies trying to slow them down and strip fighters of belts and make, Mauricio Suleiman is on Instagram, like doing stories on the gloves and the history of WBC and all this. And unfortunately, you sanctioning bodies have never cut the check. You only take the check. So you can't make fights either. You're trying to order this. It's not working. You know what I'm saying? Blocking Jal Bataille from fighting for a title and giving, David Benavidez and Noel McKellen. He ain't asked for no damn Noel McKellen. He's trying to fight Dmitry Bivol or Turbedeviev or something along those lines. But you're too busy trying to still have a control over boxing, and it's not enough. So I think the big fights are going to just start being announced. I think they're just going to make sense. And shout out to We Fight All Night TV, who said something on here. He says, you guys are delusional. If y'all think Zuffa going to sign Shakur and other boxers ain't going to go running over for their shot. They are going to run over there for their shot and for their money. Y'all need to wake up and accept the change. Zuffa actually making moves in the sport. That's a fact. You know what I mean? That, you're not going to, if you think you're going to freeze out Shakur Stevenson and be like, oh, we would have fought you, but you're Zuffa and we can't do nothing with you. Okay, let's see how long that works. Let's see how long, as they continue to pick up fighters, let's see how long that continues to be something. Let's see Usyk go over there, make a fight happen with Deontay Wilder, and people talking about they're not going to fight Usyk because he's at Zuffa. Oh, really? You're not going to fight him? Okay. All right. We're going to continue to watch that shit happen, right? You know what I'm saying? Big Tyson Fury comes over to Zuffa Boxing. I'm not fighting Tyson Fury and get this payday because he's over there with Zuffa. He put himself on the island. I can't do nothing with him. Really? You can't? Okay.
Yeah, all right. That's not the way. I mean, the guys understand these guys are all prize fighters, money rules, and that's what there's legacy that they wish and they want for, but a lot of these fighters, when they come into the profession, they end up learning that it's a business first. It really is a business first. It's not the competition that us fans we fall in love with. No, it's not that. The fights only happen if it makes sense, and if it doesn't make sense in the pockets, they're not making the fight. And it's as simple as that. So I mean, nobody's freezing out anybody anywhere. You can't. I mean, the money's there. They're not gonna say no to it. Are you crazy? I don't know if you heard Max Holloway just said, like, look, man, we prize fighter, bro. Yeah, we fight, whatever, but bro, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. You know what I mean? And so whichever way the money's gonna come in, that's the direction they're gonna go. Simple as that.
Yeah, big facts, man. Shout out to T Severe getting at me. I just saw you, T Severe. I see what you said, bro. He said that's obviously the worst take I've heard regarding this. I mean, that's cool, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, business has to be conducted before anything else. I was talking to Ray Davis about this earlier, and I said to him, people don't acknowledge that before a fight happens, business happens. And if business ain't done right, fights don't happen. If Shakur Stevenson is in the middle of negotiating the biggest deal he's ever had, he's not making a fight. Period. He's going to get this deal ironed out and make sure it's penned out and done. And this picture right here, until this happened right here with that paperwork you see in front of him, until that got ironed out, wasn't no fight going to be made, bro. Trust me. There was nothing that was going to happen until this picture that was done today happened. There was no fight being made. There was no, all right, man, let's go ahead. There was none of that being made until this happened right here. And you guys can paint the picture just because Zuffa was the one interested in making Devin Haney and Shakur. They're probably still interested in it. And that probably is part of this deal that you see on the paperwork. Devin Haney and Shakur is probably on it. But this is what Shakur was saying, that deals aren't made on Twitter. Fights aren't made on Twitter. This is where they're made, right here. And I know that this is coming, that I'm getting ready to do this right here, that I'm getting ready to sit down in front of Dana White, ink out money that's going to be generational wealth, that's going to change my family's life. And this is where it's real at. So I'm not going to get into committing to doing shit with your ass on no damn Twitter. I'll tell you what I'm willing to do and let you know that all the possibilities are there. But until this picture right here happens and surfaces, Brother, ain't no fights being made.
Hey, Clay, I got it better for you than that picture. You could take that picture down. You could get the video of them under that signing. I got it.
You put it in there?
Yeah. Why would they do? Well, Zuffa put it out. Okay, that's fine.
Oh,
yeah, man. So good for him, bro. I mean, regardless of the fact, these guys, I mean, look, these guys put it all on the line. So whatever money they end up getting, man, good for them. Good for them. You can't hate on that.
Nah, you can't. You got no choice but to respect it, man. You know what I'm saying?
Look at that.
You gotta respect it. And people who don't understand that and want to be, you know, I was telling Ray David this earlier that if you want to be a boxing fan, that's cool. I'm a boxing fan as well, and I don't care about these fighters and their money. But if you're talking about making a fight happen, you have to acknowledge the intangibles. You can't just continue to play this game as if you don't give me the fight right now, these guys are ducks. No, there's business that needs to be done. And until the business is accounted for, we don't make fights. We don't do it because we don't fight for free and we don't make deals on the internet. I'm saying that's not, we don't do that. We can make fights and say, listen, yeah, me and you can fight next, man. But how long is it going to take before that fight happens is going to be dependent on how smooth the business goes. You heard?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. He shook her looked in that. He looked a little nervous though. I ain't gonna lie. He looked nervous signing that shit. Look at the way he like they know that he's good. But watch his reaction. He's like, yeah, okay. Did I sign my life away?
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, but he rubbed his hands together like, yeah, money, money, money.
We are too.
Yeah, he thinking about the M's.
And I think about the M's, man, I hope the M's is worth it. Hey, look, he's got to be nervous. He's the first one of the superstars to really do it, right? Like, this ain't Giant. This is Shakur Stevens.
Yeah, man.
So he's the first. So I wouldn't blame him being nervous about it. He doesn't know what the future really holds with it. He knows he's probably getting paid, but he doesn't know what the outcome of all this is going to be. So I'm going to wish him the best, and I hope it goes well.
He definitely got to be nervous. He got to be nervous because he's getting a lot of money, but he's got to know that this is a big move for him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm happy because I'm getting this money. I'm nervous because I don't know how this is going to, reverberate throughout the space all the way and what that really means for me. But it is also, I think he rubbed his hands together and let it be known like, yeah, I just signed for a lot of money. But I think it's also a peace of mind, right? To it. There's got to be a peace of mind because the peace of mind's got to be, I don't got to worry about the politics of this sport like I did before. You know what I'm saying? Like, if nobody don't want to fight me right now because they want to paint this picture that me being over at Zuffa or doing whatever I'm doing is a horrible thing, that's cool. I'll just get all this money that I signed up for fighting nobodies. And you guys can cry. I don't give a shit. Like, I want to make the biggest fights, but I'm no longer caught up on the politics and the weird ass energy in this sport and people playing with me saying they don't want to fight me because I'm, I don't want to fight, or, I don't punch hard enough, or I'm pillow fisted, or my style is boring, or I don't put asses in the seats. I don't care no more. I've been hit with my bag. Now, if you want to get into a fight right now and get your biggest bag, by the way, feel free to come over and make a fight. Otherwise, stay your ass over there and fight who you fighting. Who's paying you? Last time I checked, ain't no checks circulating over there for y'all like that. Keep on playing with me. That's why y'all been calling my name out crazy for the past 6 months. You know what I'm saying? 4 months. Everybody been trying to get in the ring with me. Everybody been trying to call me out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, that's why. Because there's not that many paydays in boxing right now. Not too many A-side fighters who are really giving fighters these big paydays no more.
Yeah, I think he also got it. He probably has on his shoulder what the consequence, but how this is gonna play all out as far as the sanctioning bodies. Is he vacating for real? Does this change the landscape of boxing with all the sanctioning bodies and all that stuff? Who knows? This could be the genesis of all that. Like what you've been preaching in open, Clay. So I mean, I can imagine he's got a lot of different weights on his shoulders of thinking of what's it gonna end up being. But at the end of the day, yeah, he rubbed them hands like, yeah, I'm getting paid.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It looked like you getting some money.
Hey, man, that's all I got, Clay, man. I'm going to thank you for having me on the show, man. But I got to hit the road, man. Peace out, my guys. Much love.
I got to watch all these interviews. I got to watch all these interviews and put together a thumbnail and see if I'm going to go up live tomorrow, man. And we can make it about this, man. Talk about this a little bit more from a little more knowledgeable standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
HLD, did you admit you was wrong?
About what?
I missed it. About Boots. Did you admit you was wrong?
I wasn't wrong. My 23-year-old pillow-fisted guy almost had your guy out on fucking Atlantic Street, bro. All right? No, but it was a good fight, man. I got number. It was a great fight, bro. I enjoyed it every bit of it. I was in the building, bro. I was right there. I was breathing on on Boots' neck, bro. But it's good, man. Good fight, man. All right, guys, man. Peace out. Much love, Clay. Thank you, man.
No doubt. Salute to you, man. Salute to everybody on the panel as well, man. Appreciate you, Radio Boxing, Dr. Eugene, man. Thank you, man. Salute to all you guys, man. It's about that time, guys. Hold on a second here. It's about that time for me. About to shut it down, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hit the like button if you haven't done it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take a moment to go ahead and do that as well. Appreciate all the super chats. Shout out to VLM 919 with the $2. Says Shakur Haney next, in my opinion. Too much money. No doubt, man. I think that is too. I think that's why I was asking everybody. I think there's a good chance that Devin Haney's going to go ahead and vacate and take that fight. We'll see, though. You know what I'm saying? But unless Zuffa is going, if Devin Haney has signed to Zuffa Boxing, if that indeed is what has happened, then one of two things here. Either they're going to pay for that fight with Keyshawn and Devin Haney, which according to Bill Haney, they weren't interested in that fight, or Devin's agreed already. If he signed with Zuffa Boxing, he's getting ready to make an announcement. If it's not Keyshawn, you know, I mean, it is what it is, right? If he signed with Zuffa, if that's what the rumor is and that's what's happened, then I think he's going to fight Shakur next. It is what it is, though. But shout out to everybody in the building, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Until the next one, it's your boy Rain. It's that Read the Ring. It's that ATP Combat Media Show. And at this point, we out.
Gotta aim for the top like, hold up. Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that this level's to the pain. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like pain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The richest got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. Putting on for my city like OAGZ. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it, and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You tryna aim for the top like this, and you're in your element with a fire like this, and they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. God got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got.